This is Atomic Shinobi, and today I'm going to narrate second part of What If Naruto Was Trained by a Legendary Samurai. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
To extract as much information as possible from the traitor Mizuki, the Torture and Interrogation Division worked through the night. When Enko saw pieces of Mizuki's body, she was ecstatic. The man informed them of everything he knew about Orochimaru's operations while singing like a canary. The man begged repeatedly not to bring Naruto into the room during the entire ordeal. Enko was intrigued by this and desired to meet this Naruto. Kurenai had spoken well of the boy and her team, so Enko was aware of him. Maybe I could get more info from Chan? Enko asked. She contemplated. Naruto rose early the following day, at 7, to get ready for his 8 a.m. meeting with the Hokage and the council. After everything he had done and discovered, he was mentally exhausted. Things were too simple and didn't add up. Just why would you lead one of your own into a death trap? Ever since learning from Mayushi to view things holistically, Naruto stopped accepting things at face value. He would attempt to view things more broadly. Orochimaru knew for sure that Mizuki could never have pulled off something like that on his own. He was aware that attempting to pilfer something directly from the Hokage's hand is equivalent to committing suicide. Perhaps that's what the snake desired. His intention was for us to catch Mizuki. That is his message. What message is it that he wanted to send to Konoha? That was the question nagging at the boy's thoughts. He felt one of the Anbu from last night when he was eating breakfast after getting dressed. Anbu-san, I'll be prepared in a moment. The boy called the Anbu out, asking how he managed to do it, just as he had barely arrived. The lone shinobi pondered. The boy came outside after 10 or so minutes and said, "I'm ready, Anbu-san." "All right then, let's go." They headed toward the Hokage tower together. The council room. T and I got as much information as we could from Mizuki, and then called a meeting of the entire Shinobi Council. There to present their report to the council were Ibiki and Anko. Mizuki was only one of 5 spies in Konoha. He was aware of the identities and whereabouts of the other 4 spies. One of the 2 known spies was apprehended, and Anbu squads had already been dispatched. The other 2 enigmatic spies remained free. Although Mizuki's potential as a spy was already known to the council, the new information he revealed was extremely unsettling. Mizuki revealed that the snake was based in each of the 5 major countries. The council was rattled by this news. They had no idea where their biggest trader's operating base was located in Fire Country. Jiraiya was present at the council meeting, observing the proceedings, but none of them realized it. As soon as Naruto informed him of his meeting with Mizuki, Sarutobi ordered Jiraiya to go back to Konoha right away. The Anbu sent to escort Naruto entered the room while the council was discussing the best way to locate the snake concealed among the leaves. "Hokage Sama, Uzumaki Naruto is here as you commanded." With a serious tone, Sandaime ordered, "Send him in." The Anbu led Naruto into the center of the council chamber. He bowed respectfully to the Shinobi Council after making his way to the center of the room. He realized suddenly that there was another person in the room directly behind the Hokage. For the briefest of moments, Naruto's eyes were trained on the area just behind the Hokage's left side, as if he was unaware that anyone else was either. Naruto didn't worry about it because the Sandaime didn't seem to be fazed. If the Hokage wasn't bothered, then neither was he. "I'm positive the child saw me," Jiraiya told himself. "Hooray! Fantastic Naruto, fantastic." The Sandaime knew that the boy had noticed Jiraiya standing next to him. Naruto was a class act, and the Hokage appreciated the boy for showing him respect. "Uzumaki Naruto, you know why you are here. We the council would like to know your side of the story." "Hi Hokage Sama. I was on my way to my apartment from training when I sensed several key signatures moving about. I was able to detect Mizuki-san's signature, so I decided to see what the snake-smelling, traitorous bastard was up to. I was able to cut off his retreat and retrieve the scroll." Anko and Inuzuka Sume were compelled to chuckle at the boy's comment regarding Mizuki. "You seem to have a firm dislike for traitors," asked Danzo. "There is no greater crime than betrayal to one's country." The boy's statement was approved by the entire council, who all nodded. "Your dealing with the situation was particularly brutal, Uzumaki-san, especially for someone as young as yourself." Anbu reported that after he lost both hands he totally surrendered and begged for mercy. "Yet you still went about cutting off his leg. Care to explain the reason why you utilized such violence against Mizuki and why you continued your punishment?" asked Hiyashi. "Yes, Hiyashi. Sama, I have 4 reasons why I used such violence. Reason number 1, Mizuki attempted to steal Konoha's most powerful secrets. Reason number 2, he was in collaboration with one of Konoha's greatest enemy, Orochimaru. Reason number 3, he betrayed Hai no Kuni and Konoha. My sensei taught me the importance of loyalty and the consequences of disloyalty. And as to why I continued the punishment even though he gave up, that's simple. I told him that I would send him back to Konoha with only one leg to his name. I was taught never to make idle threats. If I say I am going to do something, then I must do it. A man is recognized by what he says and does. If I talk and do not act, then I am betraying the path I chose to follow. Hiyashi and the other council members gave a nod of approval. A lot of people were curious about the boy's sensei. Anko felt a chill run down her spine. This child was amazing. Unfortunately, he was so young, she thought. Damn that fool Sarutobi, he would have made the perfect shinobi, Danzo thought to himself. Do you know Uzumaki-san that you have just sent a powerful message to the shinobi of Konoha? The Warhawk asked. Danzo and the others paid close attention as the Sandaime was cautious around him at all times. The man asked, do you know what that message is, Uzumaki-san? The boy nodded and uttered the serious words, never betray. The council believed that the young man was very serious and that there was no doubting his allegiance to Konoha. The boy's actions sent a strong message to the shinobi populace, and the Hokage had to admit that Danzo made a very valid point there. The boy's steadfast devotion to Konoha and Hai no Kuni made him smile. He was using his words and deeds to win over a large number of council members. Furthermore, the Anbu reports said that the boy had defeated the Chunin with ease. He would only grow stronger and better because he was still very young. Hiyashi continued his questioning. Anbu reported that you showed no signs of fear against a Chunin-level shinobi. Didn't you think that you were in a little over your head in terms of skill level? Even if he was a Jonin, Anbu or even you Hyuga Sama, I would have still fought. Even if I had no hope of victory, I would have still fought. To protect my country, my village, the people, I would fight to the death. The way of Bushido demands it, and I would have it no other way. Despite not following the path of the shinobi, Konoha is still my home and I will allow no harm to come to it. Sandaime smiled, a smile that was both bitter and sweet. The boy had a genuine understanding of what it meant to be Hokage at such a young age. To fight without hesitation or fear, disregarding your own safety, and to do so against all odds. The news that Konoha had lost a future Hokage nearly brought Sandaime to tears. But his thoughts were cut short when he noticed that Naruto had his head down, his fists clenched, and his eyes closed. Is everything alright, Uzumaki-san? Inquired the Hokage. The boy declared, Orochimaru is planning to invade Konoha. The council chamber was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Uzumaki-san, can you please explain your logic for such a grave statement? Asked the Hokage. The boy responded, my sensei drilled into me the importance of seeing the whole picture. He said that if you focus on the leaf, you miss the tree, and if you focus on the tree, you miss the forest. The boy's words were being carefully heard by the council. The boy continued, Orochimaru knew that Mizuki would have never been able to successfully steal the Forbidden Scroll. He was just a pawn, a distraction for his bigger plan. He hates Konoha with a passion. He is trying to get us to focus on the leaf so that we wouldn't be able to see the tree. He probably gave Mizuki the information he wanted us to know. Mizuki was his message to us. You're saying that this whole thing is just a diversion? Could you please elaborate? Inquired Shikaku, who was already aware of the boy's intended destination. All he wanted to do was check the boy's level of forward thinking. If he has bases all over the elemental nations, then that means his forces are spread out. The other council members were starting to realize where this was headed. Go on, Uzumaki, the Hokage ordered, realizing Shikaku's scheme. If his forces are spread out like that, then he is not powerful enough to attack us directly. He would have to weaken us first. My sensei taught me never rush headlong into a powerful opponent. Instead, I need to wear him down first before I could strike him down. Shikaku went on, that makes sense, but how do you think he is going to do this? As his thoughts began racing through various scenarios, the boy said, that slithering monster is most likely going to use our enemies against us. Ibiki continued, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. If this turns out to be true, then we have tough times ahead of us. One of the Hokage's top advisors, Homura, questioned, how do you know all of this? Sensei had me learn and memorize everything there is to know about all the elemental nations beginning with Konoha. It was my homework. Was that at homework? Akamichi Choza inquired. Yes, my sensei believed that it was something I should learn on my own time. He said that my training time would be spent on the more practical aspects swordsmanship. His quizzes weren't particularly easy and were always random. So I had to keep learning, otherwise I would be in for a world of pain. Sume continued, your sensei is a harsh trainer, Uzumaki-san. Yes, he told me that my enemies won't show me any mercy on the battlefield and he wasn't going to show me any either. The boy's sensei was liked by both Anko and Ibiki. Danzo grinned to himself. This was the ideal opportunity to learn more about the boy's instruction. He would begin with the knowledge that the council already possessed. The war hawk inquired, where did you train Uzumaki-san? Without realizing that they were already aware of his training, Naruto turned to face the Hokage and silently requested their permission to speak. The boy received a nod of approval from the Hokage. I trained for a year in the Forest of Death. What? Asked Anko. I trained mostly alone in the Forest of Death for a year. My sensei just told me to survive ya. He would come in from time to time to train me, then he left. It's not that bad once you get used to it. I had an Anbu guard the whole time watching over me. Anko joined the 20 questions with, what did you have to survive Naruto-chan? Due to the fact that Anko was one of the individuals teaching Anbu, the council did not object. My Bakken. That's it? No supplies, camping gear, anything? Anko asked, her voice growing more excited. So, how did you manage to survive? She repeated. Eating berries, fish and small animals and stuff like that. Did you cook? No, I ate them raw. Fires attract animals and that's not a good idea in the forest? Were you afraid? At first yeah, but then I stopped being afraid. If I know that something is approaching before it is, there's nothing to be afraid of. The boy's remarks and Konoha's current circumstances were connected by the council. The trepidation that had been there for a while was starting to fade, though they wouldn't admit it. The boy was right. There is nothing to be afraid of when one is informed. Anko and the council had all the information they could obtain, so they said, okay, no more questions, Buster. Anko whispered to Ibiki, this kid is strong enough to be an Anbu, and Ibiki nodded in agreement. The Hokage overheard Ibiki and Anko having a brief conversation and understood exactly what they were discussing. With enough strength, the boy joined Anbu. This is visible to everyone. After Anko concluded her interrogation, a lone Anbu entered, spoke with the Hokage, and then left. The Sandaime raised his voice. The last of the 3 known spies has been caught. Anko, Ibiki, you have work to do. They all uttered, Hi Hokage. Sama, as they exited the council chamber. Go on, Sarutobi uttered. How did you know you had an Anbu guard Naruto-san? Nara Shikaku repeated his questioning. The boy said, I sensed him of course, as though it were the most obvious thing in the world. The council was impressed once more. A 12-year-old boy who was capable of sensing Anbu-level shinobi stood in front of them. Shikaku Nara went on. Could you tell me how many Anbu are in this room? He looked briefly to the left of the Hokage before stating, there are currently 5 Anbu in the room. He then went on to identify the precise location of the Anbu guards. I'm sure the child saw me. How come he didn't reveal me? The toad hidden Sanin contemplated. The Sandaime knew, too, that he had seen Jiraiya. As the boy identified the location of the toad Sanin, he displayed the tiniest hesitations on his face. The boy's ability astounded the council. Yamanaka Inoichi inquired, how do you know this? My very first lesson was in learning to observe my environment down to the smallest detail. The council came to the conclusion that this boy could easily defeat a low-level Jonin or a high-level Chunin and come out on top. This kid was the real deal, and his handling of Mizuki was no accident. Shibi questioned, why the Forest of Death? He told me I needed to develop my instinct. I needed to develop the will to survive and to fight for my life. To be at the brink of death. He said that is more important than any skill or technique or skill I could ever learn. Sandaime had long since come to the conclusion that giving Naruto the opportunity to train with the elderly man was the best thing for the young man. Is that why you are always on guard, even in this room? Asked Shikaku. Yes. You can't afford to be off guard in the Forest of Death or around shinobi for that matter or you may end up dead, was the boy's reply. It was none other than Aburame Shibi who said, Naruto-san, tell me your logic behind the theory that Orochimaru would try to weaken us using our enemies. Actually he has already weakened us, Aburame Shibi questioned, how so? By revealing the location of some of his spies but not the others and his supposed base in Fire Country. We have no choice but to seek out his spies and his most likely non-existent base hidden in Fire Country. This will take up resources and time, forcing us to focus on our own affairs, making it easier for him to make his move elsewhere without us noticing. Shaw nodded concurringly. He has also gained the psychological advantage as well, because if he could have so many spies in our country, What else does he know about us? Does he have access to information that only the most senior shinobi should have access to? He could know the identities of the Anbu forces or the medical files of our shinobi? Are there really only 5 spies among us? These are all disturbing possibilities to think of and deal with, the boy said. The council was aware of how dangerous the situation was and how true it was. I'm impressed, Jiraiya said to himself. Our greatest enemies are Iwa, Kumo and Mist, and we can do nothing about any dealings between Orochimaru and any of these nations. Even though Suna are our allies, our relations with them are strained at best. Konoha has long been recognized as the strongest of the elemental nations. Our enemies will jump at the chance to destroy us, so it wouldn't be hard for him to dangle a little bait and set the other nations upon us like hungry dogs. Uzumaki-san, you show impressive logic for one so young. I take it that this is also a result of your training? Asked Hyuga Hiyashi. Yes, my sensei instilled in me, rather painfully, the importance of strategy in battle. It is a crucial aspect of my training. Without strategy you cannot win a battle. The council had no choice but to concur. I have one final question for you, Naruto-san. Yes, sir. You said you sensed various key signatures. Care to explain? Quite simple, sir. Ki is the rawest form of energy. Just like chakra signatures, everyone has a key signature. He went on, so you don't use chakra? No sir, I don't use chakra, I use ki. The council was now interested in this piece of information. That's all, Shikaku replied, preferring to avoid discussing the boy's private training techniques. Danzo, though, had other ideas. Care to tell us how you use your ki? Naruto-san, asked Danzo. With a flat tone, Naruto answered, no, sir. I do not care to tell. Do you realize that you are in the presence of the Shinobi Council and you are obliged to answer our questions? The man continued. Yes, I am well aware of that. We all have our secrets. If we parade all of our techniques everywhere and everyone, then we might as well just kill ourselves. I am not revealing my techniques to anyone. The boy's disobedience did not surprise the others too much. He had a strong sense of self-worth and stood up for his convictions. With an authoritative tone, Danzo questioned, "You're disobeying your senior?" "Yes, sir, I am not giving away the things that make me who I am. Will you, sir?" Danzo offered no response to the boy's dispute. The boy is a ball. Sume pondered. Jiraiya wanted to laugh out loud at that very moment. The Sandaime concluded that they had questioned the boy for far too long. The boy is correct. He will not be forced to divulge his secrets and techniques. They're his and his alone. Does the council understand? Except for Danzo, every member of the council nodded in agreement. The Sandaime asked the same question again, giving Danzo a hard look. Does the council understand? The room fell silent as the Hokage and Danzo exchanged blank looks, and the bandaged man nodded to agree with Sandaime's statement. Good, now let us decide how we are going to deal with this situation, said the Hokage. Jiraiya, who was hiding behind Sarutobi, remarked, well, we either catch the snake before he puts his plan into action or we brace ourselves for a series of wars. The man's appearance startled the entire council. The big man and Naruto exchanged glances. The big man asked Naruto, you saw me the moment you saw the Hokage and you didn't say anything, why? The council was taken aback. They had no idea how the child knew Jiraiya was in the room. Hinata chose a potential suitor wisely. Hiyashi was thinking to himself, even though he might not be Kyuubi's Jinchuriki, he has enormous potential and will grow into a very influential man. 2 reasons, sir. Reason number 1. You were right next to the Hokage. He had no problems with your presence, so neither did I. Reason number 2 is that you're no Anbu in Nara. Sama asked how many Anbu were in the room. Sarutobi smiled, but Danzo did not. His Anbu root had no chance of spying on the boy if he could sense Jiraiya. To exacerbate the situation, the boy was protected by the Sandaime since they saw each other as their grandchildren. Because of this, he became an unknown entity, and in the world of shinobi, an unknown entity meant danger. It's nearly impossible to get close to the boy. How do you know I wasn't an Anbu? Jiraiya, who was extremely impressed, questioned. I apologize. This is a trade secret, Naruto said, wriggling his index finger. I like you, boy. You've thoroughly impressed me, Jiraiya exclaimed, laughing. Turning to the council, he spoke. I have been trying to locate Orochimaru's whereabouts for a while now. He is a very cautious man who does nothing without reason. The boy's words have merit. It's just the kind of thing that Orochimaru would do. It means a lot in many different contexts to have one of the great Sannin support your words. Jiraiya just gave Naruto's words the go. ahead in front of an already impressed council. Sarutobi looked around the council chambers and saw Naruto standing there. He looked like a young man with a promising future. Is it not high time he found out the truth about his ancestry? He has demonstrated remarkable insight and maturity, as well as his ability to handle pressure. Naruto, you are dismissed. I believe that your assigned Genin team can be found at Training Ground 10. The boy thanked the Hokage and the Shinobi Council and bowed respectfully before walking away. With a glance around the council chamber, Sandaime posed a question. Do you all realize what we have lost? It was silent in the room. They all knew the answer, they just couldn't bring themselves to say it. Since you all don't want to say it, I will. A future Hokage just walked out of the room. A future Kage that we lost because of ignorance and anger, Sandaime said in serious tone. Kaharu made a comment. He is just a child, a kid. He failed the Genin exams twice, he was not suited to be a shinobi. Yet, this kid who was ill-equipped to be a shinobi, in little over a year, can detect Jiraiya. An expert infiltration and espionage. Something that none of you all, who are elite shinobi, were able to do. Image what kind of shinobi he would have become with proper training and attention. The reasoning of the Sandaime was indisputable. Tentative silence fell over the room. You ignorant Sandaime, have you only recently recognized the boy's potential? Thought Danzo. Jiraiya broke the hush and spoke. He is very impressive, Jiraiya said. He has excellent reasoning skills and is loyal to a fault. It is true that he may no longer be a shinobi of Konoha, but his loyalty is unquestionable. Konoha will be safe if he continues to develop at the rate he is developing at. We have many clan heirs that are genin and are quite talented. The village has a bright future ahead. But a great darkness threatens that bright future, Jiraiya. Sama, said Inoichi. As the boy said, there is nothing to fear if we know something is coming beforehand. As I said before, the boy's words have merit. What I could add is that the Chunin exams that we are scheduled to hold in the next few months will be the perfect time for him to attack. So, we're going to cancel the Chunin exams, Inoichi declared. No, we cannot, said Sarutobi. It is too important to our nation to cancel. The nations depend on these exams to gather new clients and strengthen our bonds. War is imminent, Sandaime. Sama, exclaimed Sume. Konoha has survived despite incredible odds before, and we will do so again. To cancel now would mean that we undermine our international credibility. So what do? Inquired Choza. We will use this opportunity to reverse the situation on the snake. We will turn this invasion into a trap to kill a snake, was the Sandaime's reply. The council then took a seat and discussed how they intended to handle Orochimaru. Alongside Naruto. Naruto was hearing tales of the events of the previous evening as he strolled through Konoha's streets. Whenever he passed shinobi, they would frequently give him barely audible nods of approval, to which he would return the favor. A sizable section of the shinobi community respected him greatly and supported his actions against Mizuki. He was unaware that the things he did during the emergency council meeting won him a lot of favor and support. His steadfast devotion to Konoha and the Land of Fire made him very popular among the council members. Even though it was mostly hidden, his fighting prowess also attracted a lot of attention. He also received a lot of points for his extensive understanding of tactics and strategy. Following the council meeting, to get to Training Ground 10 took him 20 minutes. He was met with an odd sight when he arrived. Asuma and Shikamaru were playing shogi, Ino was yapping about her beloved Sasuke-kun, and Shoji was eating chips. Hello there, I am Uzumaki Naruto and I believe that this is Team 10? You're correct, Uzumaki-san, this is Team 10, Asuma said. I am Sarutobi Asuma Jonin Sensei of Team 10. You're related to Gigi-san? Yeah, I'm his son? Ino inquired. Who is Gigi-san? Oh sorry, I meant the Hokage. You call the Hokage Gigi? Ino questioned, looking surprised. Yup. What's wrong with that? He's old after all. Asuma and Shoji began to laugh, while Shikamaru just said, troublesome. You ought to show Hokage Sama more deference, Ino uttered a voice of disbelief. Who says what? I say, she yelled. Gigi is fine, so why should I give a damn what you think? Because Ino was becoming irrational and you don't want to be around someone who is irrational, the guys on Team 10 began to retreat. And besides, I don't take orders from you. You will when you play for this team. The last time I checked, Asuma-san was in charge of Team 10, not you, Naruto retorted. Are you? The girl yelled and assaulted. The girl attempted in vain to hit the boy, but Naruto easily sidestepped her attacks without even breaking a sweat. You don't intimidate me, Ino, and your anger doesn't scare me, the boy said. Why did you act like a rude, stupid idiot when I touched you? Are you a crying banshee or a lady? She leapt back and performed hand seals for the Shintenshin no Jutsu, but before she could string them all together, Naruto trapped her hands in a vice. Like grip. Ino was almost at her limit. How come you're going so far? Is it only because I defy your ridiculous demands that you're upset with me? And you even go so far as to use shinobi methods against a fellow fighter? Asuma, who was more than capable of managing the situation on his own, was the only one who could keep up with the boy's movements. Ino didn't even see him move, and she was completely taken aback by what had happened. I apologize, she uttered. The banshee's loudness was subdued, and Asuma, Shikamaru, and Choji were all in disbelief. In fact, she was quite. He moves so quickly, Shikamaru thought. The boy gently let go of the girl and said, apology accepted, Ino-san, just behave yourself. You're not the only one on this team. The guys said nothing. Asuma's mouth was open with his cigarette hanging out of it. Shikamaru said, less troublesome, and Choji stopped eating his chips. Looking at the group, Naruto said, he, apologies, I think that was an interesting first meeting. The guys just stared at him without saying anything. What's wrong with Ino-san, the guy? They're just taken aback by my apology. Normally, I don't apologize. Whoa. Alright. Then why do you behave that way? You're too adorable to be acting like such a child, don't you think? In addition, you're a Konoha shinobi and a lady. You ought to behave like one. Blonde girl. He thinks I'm cute, she thought to herself as she struggled to stop blushing. No, I like Sasuke-kun. I like Sasuke-kun. She repeated to herself, trying to quell the fire that was shooting through her. The girl answered honestly, I don't know, I'm just used to getting what I want, that's all. Why am I behaving in this manner? Ino asked herself. Yes, but you tend to ignore the other people in your immediate vicinity. That is self-serving. I suppose so? Naruto made the decision to shift the topic. So you're a Yamanaka. I saw you in the flower shop the other day. Yeah, it's my mother's store and I help out when I can. That's nice of you. I'm grateful. Naruto, you seem to know a lot about flowers. Yeah, I learned quite a lot about them while I was training and I guess I kinda grew fond of them. Why? In response, Ino said, guys shouldn't like flowers. Is he gay or something? Nah, I doubt it. They really are the ideal match for me. They completely contrast with the life of a warrior. A warrior's life is filled with conflict and struggle, but a flower's life is gentle and beautiful. They give a life devoted to warfare some balance. Do you not concur? Yes, I believe so, the girl answered, feeling warmth spread throughout her once more. Asuma laughed and said, excuse me, you too. Let's head over to the Hokage's office for some missions. By the way, Shikamaru is the guy with the perpetually bored expression on his face, and Choji is the guy who is swallowing the chips like there is no tomorrow. Naruto said to Shikamaru and Choji, okay, Asuma-san, and nice to meet you guys, and they both gave him a nice response. Yes, Asuma. Sensei. Because she understood what Asuma's tone meant, Ino responded to her with a tone of anger. Following their rendezvous with the rest of the group, the two set out to complete their missions at the Hokage's tower. En route, Choji and Naruto argued over which dish was better, a ramen or roast beef, and were challenged to an eating contest for the two dishes on two different occasions. Naruto and Shikamaru would play and gossip about shogi during their downtime between missions. Following an especially demanding day with Team 10, Naruto traveled to Mayushi to receive his training. In Mayushi's store, Naruto entered the establishment while the elderly man was cleaning it. Hey old man, I am here. You arrived early. Are you and Hinata-chan done dating? Hi. We just get food at the end of the day, and occasionally Kiba and Shino are there, so they aren't dates. But it is a date for the two of you though. Ah. It's all the talk in the village, what you did, I heard. Even so, the general public is unaware that you are the one who actually completed the task. Naruto, you did an amazing job, and from what I've heard, I'm proud of you. It was the first time I had to actually fight a man, the boy said, nodding his head. There was no fear for my life. I was feeling nothing as I dismantled him. Is there something wrong with me, old man? Is there anything wrong with that? The boy inquired in a somewhat perplexed tone. No, young one, there's nothing wrong with you or that. That's what makes warrior such a great feeling. Do you recall the story I told you about the paradox between these two swords, Katsujinkan and Satsujinkan? Yes, I do recall. They are the same swords that take lives as well as give them. You are utilizing the other when you use one. Your sword turned into the life. Stealing Satsujinkan is a result of your actions against Mizuki. But by turning into Satsujinkan, your swords have assisted in stopping a man who was going to harm others with the power of the Forbidden Scroll. Your swords became Katsujinkan, a sword that grants life, in this way. Since you have personal experience with the seriousness of taking a life, you are aware that using a knife should always be done with honor. You didn't really kill the man, anyway. He would have died if I didn't stop the bleeding. That's accurate, and this says a lot about you, young person. Although it's not something to be enjoyed, there will be occasions when you have to kill in order to defend your nation. You were formally initiated into the warrior life last night. It was essentially the night of your fist kill. Aging Koot. The boy grinned gratefully and said, "One's first kill is never easy. Doubts start to form within you and eventually, you begin to lose your way," the elderly man went on. "Can you still recall Dakodo 6? "Yes, sir." "Don't second. Guess what you did?" "Indeed, once something is done, it cannot be undone. Thinking and worrying about it won't magically transport you back in time to make the necessary changes. There are plenty more people who will fall by your blade after he did. The spiral has started, and you need to figure out how to handle it." "What kind of spiral?" "You started the death spiral the instant you killed that man. The spiral pursues everyone who picks up and wields a sword. Swordsmen and shinobi alike will soon hear of your exploits, and they will follow you to see how strong they are. You will attract them to you as moths do to a flame. The cycle of death and blood never ends." "How should I proceed?" "That's for you to figure out." The spiral of blood and death was a somber piece of information that the boy was not sure how to process, and it put him in a contemplative mood. "Yes, you do know what it means to use a blade now. It is no small feat, young one, to wield a blade and to walk the precipice between life and death. It is up to you to figure out the answers on your own, at your own pace. Well, let's move on to other topics. How is your friend the Hyuga princess, your girlfriend?" Aging Koot. "No, she's not my partner," the boy answered in a displeased tone. "Not just yet. So, when are you going to introduce her to me?" At the suggestion of bringing her to meet Mayushi, the boy blushed. He eventually gave in. "Sometime, old man, sometime. She is a cute one, the Hyuga princess." "You outdated pervert." With a deep flush on his face, Naruto yelled. "That's my boy," Mayushi remarked very lightheartedly. After talking with Mayushi and receiving his training, Naruto left Mayushi's shop and headed to his apartment. It was 11 o'clock and the stars were shining brightly. But while he was walking, he noticed that someone was following him and chose a different path that led to a wide open field. He stood in the middle of the field and said, "You're the same guy from earlier today in the council chamber, so you can leave now. What do you want?" "I didn't believe Sarutobi Sensei when he told me that you were very skilled at reading people. I was impressed when you sensed me in the council. All I had to do now was make sure it wasn't a coincidence." Sarutobi Sensei, what's up? Are you not Jiraiya of the Sanin? "Yes I am, and I just wanted to talk to you." "Why me? I knew your father." "You knew my father?" With true astonishment, Naruto questioned. "Indeed, and he would have been pleased with the way you conducted yourself in today's council meeting. You did a perfect job passing their test." "Why are you revealing this to me?" "I am telling you this because I see him in you. He was very much like you when he was young." Since Naruto had come to terms with his isolation from the world and was content to train hard, serve his country, and perhaps someday start a family with Hinata, he really never gave his parents much thought anymore. "Do you want to learn more about him?" The boys curtly replied, "No." "No. However, why?" questioned the startled man. "Because I have put that behind me. I know that he died protecting Konoha and that is more than enough for me." "You're not upset about being abandoned and on your own to fend for yourself, but what about his legacy?" "For a while, I was bitter and envious, but Kami told me that this was the life I had to lead. I have to submit to Kami's will. Wasn't he a shinobi? And from now on I walk in the samurai's footsteps. I might not be able to utilize his legacy. But surely you ought to check for yourself at least?" "Maybe I will. Few people could endure what you did and still stand there. You're very strong. Your dad would have been extremely pleased with you." "Thank you. I've heard that you're a pretty good samurai." The boy sidestepped the man, who vanished, and attempted to strike him from behind, but he did not turn around. "You never let your guard down, that's impressive. Are you game for a taijutsu match?" "Is there anything I can do?" "Not at all." The big man hurried the boy, saying. The midnight spar began, and Jiraiya did not hold back when he saw Naruto's skill at taijutsu, especially the move that stopped the body's energy flow. At that point, he decided to use Cage Bunshin on the boy to prevent him from going up against him on. Fighting a Hyuga in taijutsu is almost suicide. Whoever taught the boy did a great job. Jiraiya promised Naruto he would return in time for the Chunin exams and that he looked forward to seeing him before he left. The next working day. The man truly knew his taijutsu, was incredibly intelligent and quick to adjust to the situation. He was the epitome of the shinobi. Jiraiya informed him that he would be returning for the Chunin exams to prepare for the likely Orochimaru attack, and that Naruto would be meeting him again when he returned. Naruto was extremely sore the following day, and the hits he did receive were really hard. Naruto spent the majority of the spar on the defensive. In the midst of the shogi match, Shikamaru was using his special thinking pose to come up with moves against Naruto. Even though Shikamaru was winning every time, it didn't mean he couldn't give him a run for his money. The two boys were locked in a fierce game of shogi and weren't giving each other an inch. For Choji and Ino, shogi was uninteresting. Shikamaru had been thinking about the Mizuki incident for some time. He knew Naruto was the one who sent the man to T&I in pieces, so he wanted to talk to someone about what was bothering him. Why did you have to amputate Mizuki's leg and arms, Naruto? Everyone was taken aback by this, even Naruto. How was I aware that I had captured Mizuki? On the first day of class, you threatened to break his arms. After being discovered stealing the Forbidden Scroll a few weeks later, Mizuki ends up missing his arms and legs in T&I. Additionally, there is the minor issue of the entire shinobi force discussing it. You don't actually make pointless threats, do you? The boy said, no, I don't. He betrayed Konoha, as his surprise soon subsided. He sided with a traitor and attempted to steal our secrets. That explains the 2 arms and 1 leg. Asuma's face was serious. Choji was unable to finish his chips, and Ino was inconsolable. Unsettling. Just unsettling, Shikamaru remarked. I suppose he received his just desserts. Betraying one's nation is a grave offense. But Shikamaru, he tore Mizuki to pieces, Ino uttered fearfully. All right. Mizuki was a betrayer. Despite his problems, Naruto acted morally. Buddha, but he cut him to pieces. Naruto had the opportunity to reply now. Are you a Konoha kunoichi? What made you decide to enlist in the Konoha military? This is no joke. Can you imagine the kind of harm Mizuki could have caused if he had been able to get away with that scroll? You should give up if you can't handle this. This is the life you signed up for. Stunned into quietness, Ino the boy apologized to Ino for being a little too harsh, but his tone softened as he spoke. Simply put, I adhere to the Bushido code of conduct as a samurai, and in this code, loyalty to one's lord and country is paramount. He betrayed Konoha and the country of fire by betraying us. Death is the punishment for betrayal. No problem, I kinda understand now. Asuma participated, and it was a fantastic chance for him to impart some important knowledge to his students. The code of loyalty for both samurai and shinobi does not change, even though they are in all practical aspects distinct from one another. Even though you may be horrified by his actions, the consequences are frequently the same for both. This is a fact of our line of work. A traitor's only escape is death. But Sensei never got to finish because Asuma was determined to make his point. Every village has secrets, and there's a reason they're called hidden villages. The preservation of village secrets is necessary to prevent the village from losing its current position of power. If the village is jeopardized, instability may spread throughout the entire nation. A prime illustration would be the Third Great Shinobi War. After the third Kage was abducted, Konoha and Iwa intervened in a last-ditch effort to locate their Kage Suna, which ultimately resulted in war. Millions of people died in the Third Shinobi War. I want to ask everyone a question. How could the Kage of one of the 5 major elemental nations be abducted within his own nation? The people close to him must have been plotting against him, said Choji. And this implies, Asuma motioned for them to go on. That indicates that he was deceived, Shikamaru uttered. And this betrayal resulted in a war, and the betrayer is still at large today. The betrayer in our case was apprehended. Now, Ino, can you see what this incident might have led to? Yes, Sensei. Although true Naruto handled the matter in a rather harsh manner, it served as a reminder that Konoha does not accept betrayal. As a devoted Konoha shinobi, you cannot refuse the call to kill a traitor should it come your way. Asuma's words sank in, causing a solemn silence among the group. He was relieved that he had given his team such crucial information that they needed to know. Today's training is over. Let's grab a bite to eat. Please, Naruto and Choji, be gentle with my money. The two boys started giggling. Naruto said, I can't make any promises, Asuma-san. With resolute eyes, Choji turned to face Naruto. Uzumaki, you're going down, speaking in a grave tone as he faced Naruto. Glancing at Choji, Naruto expressed his seriousness with a, "I'm not going down that easily," response as they butted heads. Gah! With a twisted expression, Ino declared, "It's about to be another eat fest." Difficult. Is all Shikamaru could utter. Asuma thought, idiots, but loving ones at that. For the next 2 weeks, Naruto and Team 10 worked out, played shogi, completed missions, ate Asuma into the poorhouse, and became good friends with Ino, to the eternal gratitude of Asuma. The chain. Smoking Jonin noticed that she was beginning to show signs of attraction to the boy and would tease her when no one else was around. The Jonin grew afraid of Naruto and Choji's eating habits, and the restaurant owners would always smile when Asuma's team entered their establishments. Between Naruto and Choji, Asuma knew he would end up broke by the time Naruto left his team. It was like feeding two bottomless pits. Naruto and Shikamaru played some serious games of shogi, which were frequently lengthy and challenging, with Shikamaru enjoying the matches. Naruto also started learning the most fundamental ki technique using his swordsa during the 2-week period. Alongside Naruto and Mayushi, in the Forest of Death, the two faced one another. "I am about to teach you how to use your ki battle situations. You will learn how to channel your ki through your swords to increase their strength and cutting power." The boy gave the elderly man a nod of agreement. Indeed, each individual is aligned with one of the 4 ki affinities. One can be either pure yang or pure yin. Additionally, a person may be predominantly yang or yin. Though your usage leans more toward yin, you're a very unusual case, young one, as you have the capacity to use both yin and yang ki equally. How is it possible? It's like being equally skilled with both arms, but preferring to use your right hand over your left. You just decide not to use your left hand, even though you are still perfectly capable of using it. He must have the Kyuubi sealed inside of him, I'm sure of it. The Kyuubi's alignment of ki is being indirectly impacted by his yang chakra. Because the life forces of the host and the Biju are entwined, it makes sense that the kids and the Biju's ki have blended together flawlessly. The elderly man pondered. Do you understand? Yes, sensei. As you already know, the ki of yin was cold and thus formed water, and the ki of yang was hot and thus formed fire. The ki of yin was heavy and dark and thus formed the earth, and the ki on yang was light and thus formed the heavens, which in the case of battle corresponds to wind. The boy understood and nodded. Earth and water are by nature heavy, defensive elements, whereas wind and fire are light, offensive elements. However, with proper usage the roles can be reversed. You young one, show a very strong usage of yin ki. Therefore, this means that you will be able to utilize the strong defensive capabilities of yin ki. What about yang ki's offensive capabilities? The boy inquired, eager to learn more about his attacking techniques. Remember, Naruto, balance is necessary in battle. You can't rely solely on offense alone in battle. Okay, old man, good, now I am going to show you how the shield of ki or ki, tate. As the name implies, says it's a shield of ki. All you have to do is to push a steady stream of ki out of every part of your body and maintain it there. The optimum distance for the ki, tate, is your Chika.ma, close range. Maintaining the shield is very similar to maintaining your field of awareness, except it is much less subtle. This will be very simple for you since you use your yin ki mostly. Since it is naturally dense, by concentrating yin ki around your body you would be able to accumulate it to the point where you would be able to defend against physical attacks with it. Although you're primarily aligned to the yin ki, it doesn't mean that this will be easy for you to perform. Could I use this technique in different parts of my body to increase my strength and speed even more? Asked the boy. Yes, you can, but before you can do that, you must learn how to channel and maintain your ki externally around you. Think of learning the ki tate as a ki controlling exercise. If you cannot control your power, you will be a danger to yourself and others. Yes, old man, I understand. Naruto's training commenced at that point. He frequently arrived at Team 10 meetings feeling exhausted and achy. After allowing him to construct the shield, the old man would attack the boy to test its resistance. Team 10 eventually grew used to Naruto showing up to meetings in his severely battered state after a few days. Naruto would respond when Asuma questioned him about why he continued to attend meetings in that state. I was training with the old sadistic bastard. To Asuma's delight, Ino would frequently run to console him and see if he was okay, providing him with useful blackmail material to manipulate Ino into behaving. Additionally, Naruto made time for Hinata, and the two of them were becoming closer. Hiyashi didn't seem to refute their friendship, which helped to slightly ease the situation. When Naruto returned to the Hyuga compound to see Hinata, they spent time in the garden, which grew on Naruto. When he first met Hinata's younger sister, they were completely at odds. At the estate of Hyuga. In the Hyuga garden, Naruto and Hinata were conversing about their days. Hinata had just finished her losing spar with Hanabi a few hours prior. Hanabi entered the conversation between her sister and Naruto in an attempt to sour things for her sister. When Naruto turned to face the person he felt approaching from behind, it was none other than Hyuga Hanabi who greeted him. As soon as she arrived, he said, "Hello there." His kind gesture went unnoticed by the girl. "Why do you spend time with this weakling?" "Hinata is not a weakling." The girl angrily exclaimed. "I beat her in our spars every time, and father may even make me clan head instead of her. She's weak." "She is your sister. She's a disgrace to the Hyuga clan." "Why are you doing this?" "Because she is a weakling and you're pretty strong." "How do you know that I'm strong? Everyone knows what you did to that traitor. How easily you beat him, and here you are spending time with her. The strong don't associate with the weak. Losing to you in sparring doesn't make her weak. What does it make her then? It makes her someone who doesn't want to hurt her sister. Refraining from hurting one's loved ones is not weakness but strength." "Humph. She's still weak." "Okay, Hanabi-san," Naruto curtly uttered. Without saying anything more, the girl walked away. Hinata's head was lowered the entire time. She was unable to look her sister in the eye. "Hey Hinata-chan, you okay?" "Everything she said is true. I am weak and father wants to remove me as head of the Hyuga clan. He says I'm too weak to lead the clan." "Hinata, remember you said on our first day together on Team 8 that you wanted to end the division in your clan?" "Yes," the girl said quietly. "How are you gonna end the division in your clan if you're not the clan head?" "I don't know, in a sense your father is right." Hinata was even more devastated to hear that the only person she cared about was siding with her abusers. The moment Naruto's hand touched hers, time seemed to stop for a moment, and her sadness vanished. A clan needs a strong leader, otherwise it will fall apart. The problem lies not in your perceived weakness, but the clan's view of strength. Your clan is one that rules through fear and domination. You are kind and gentle, the total opposite of the ideals of the clan. It's no wonder that they call you weak. "Truly?" the girl exclaimed. "Why do you want to end the division in your clan?" I want to end the division in the clan because we are family and families shouldn't treat each other like that." "Then that is what you must train for. That is what you must fight for. When you fight Hanabi, do not see her as your sister but just another person standing in the way of uniting your clan." But she's my sister." "Yes, and she will always be your sister. However, Hinata-chan, you must find your conviction. You cannot allow someone else to lead your clan, at least not until to fulfill your goal." I think I understand." "Good, because what the Hyuga clan doesn't realize is that gentleness is strength. For Kami's sake your clan named your fighting style Gentle Fist." Hinata couldn't contain her laughter at that. "Before I met my master, I had failed the genin exams twice in a row. I was alone and jealous of the other kids who had families to meet them and to go home to. My jealousy turned to anger. I was angry at everyone and myself. I asked myself often why I was alone and not cared for in this world." As Naruto recounted his tale, Hinata wanted to cry. "But then I met the old man and he taught me that I needed to accept myself for who I am because we could never know why Kami put us in the situation that we are in. He also told me that in accepting things the way they are, we are able to accept ourselves the way we are and thus we are able to find peace. Peace brings calm and a calm warrior in the heat of battle is virtually unbeatable. It's the same for you. Accept yourself for who you are and you will be able to achieve what it is you seek to achieve. You're not like the rest of Hyuga. You're not stuck up, or dominating or rude. You're kind, caring and gentle, and that's how Kami made you, and I don't think that Kami makes mistakes. Don't you know that you can still be kind and gentle, yet still fight like a fierce tiger for your clan, for your dreams? It's not impossible, you know. But I don't like to fight and hurt people. The moment you were born into the Hyuga clan you would have to fight some kind of battle. When you go on missions outside the village I guarantee that you will have to fight battles. Other nations have long coveted the Sharingan and Byakugan and will stop at no lengths to get one. So, there will be times when you will have to fight just to retain your heritage. Will you allow someone to take what is rightfully yours? No, would you allow someone to do harm to Konoha and its people? No, exactly. Do you know about Yin and Yang Hinata? Yes. Well then you should know that together they create balance. Only when there is balance that things come to life. You Hinata are full of Yang Ki. You are gentle, light and caring. You need to develop your Yin Ki. You need to become more stubborn and firm, especially with your beliefs and yourself. The girl said, "How do I do that, Naruto-kun?" Naruto responded, "My master told me that nature would teach me more than he ever could. When you look at the seasons, you will see the winter and summer are the extremes of yin and yang, while autumn and spring are the mixtures of both yin and yang, a balance. You need to balance yourself just as I need to balance myself. You need to stand up and fight, be strong, speak up. Your clan is depending on you, not to be just another heartless clan head, but the person to free your clan of its division. You're the only one who can do it, that is why Kami put you in the Hyuga clan. Do you see, Hinata-chan? That only someone different can free your clan of its division. Only someone, kind, gentle and forgiving can break down the barrier that is destroying your clan. You have to make a choice. You can cower in fear and convince yourself of your weakness, or you can choose to be the one to free your clan. But my Juken is no good. Father says that my form is weak. It's only weak because it doesn't suit you. In our spars, you're graceful and light, not rigid as the traditional Juken form supports. Do what works for you, but that's going against the clan. You don't stop being a Hyuga because you adjust your form to suit you. You still see and hit your opponent's tenketsus. In a sense, you will become more dangerous than the normal Hyuga. Develop your style to suit you. You've been trained in the Juken since you were small, so you have the foundation to build from. I only just started learning the sword a year now. My foundation is not set as yet. I still have some ways to go before I can start creating my own style. I know someday you will, Naruto-kun. Thanks, Hinata-chan. Naruto. You said that I'm yang. What are you mostly, Naruto-kun? I am mostly yin, stubborn and headstrong, so I need to develop my yang. I need to become more gentle and kind. We complement one another, Hinata stated while flushed. What? I don't understand. You're yin and I am yang. We complement each other, we balance each other out, we complete the circle. I think you're right, Hinata-chan, Naruto said, blushing slightly. He unintentionally tightened his hold on her hand. Sitting in silence, the two enjoyed the lovely garden while holding hands in the garden. They had no idea that a certain Hyuga patriarch named Hyuga Hiyashi was watching them. That was an interesting speech, Uzumaki-san. Ever since learning about Naruto mutilating Mizuki, Sasuke has intensified his already intense training. He claimed that Naruto was an ordinary boy, a failed shinobi who made up for his failures by training to become a samurai. When he first saw him, it was a common strategy used by many people who were not successful in becoming shinobi. Naruto, on the other hand, was fearless against Mizuki and even dared to threaten the Chunin. At first, he explained that the boy, like a certain Inuzuka, was just acting foolishly brazen to hide his lack of skill. But after learning that Naruto had actually sliced Mizuki to pieces, he realized that the character wasn't merely showing off his bluster. He was a worthy rival in Sasuke's eyes, with the ability to back up his statements. Someone against whom he could measure his progress in terms of strength. Sasuke was excited about something other than getting his retribution for the first time in a very long time. For the first time, Naruto and Hinata were holding hands, and he was ecstatic. Additionally, it was the first time they had truly discussed each other's lives in such detail. They grew closer than before as a result, and Naruto began to view Hinata as more than just a friend. That was how he imagined her, and it would always bring Mayushi's irritating, cackling, taunting voice to mind. He was aware that his feelings for Hinata could not control him or interfere with his training. It was getting easier to keep the ki. Tate maintained. Naruto needed a week of intense, continuous training to become proficient with the ki. Tate. He succeeded in completing the difficult task, and Mayushi is now teaching him how to channel ki into his swords. To the dismay of all the team members, especially Ino, Naruto's 2-week stay with Team 10 had come to an end. Although she refused to acknowledge it, Asuma had been making fun of her growing feelings for Naruto whenever he had the chance. Despite his extremely violent tendencies towards traitors, he was a very pleasant man to be around, easy to talk to, kind, and fond of flowers. However, everything has to come to an end. Naruto was heading to the Hokage Tower at 9 in the morning to meet his new team. The boy stopped being troublesome and playing practical jokes as the villagers grew accustomed to him. When the villagers needed it, he really came to their aid, and he was especially nice to the kids. Naruto came into the office while the Sandaime was occupied with paperwork, the scourge of all cages. Hey Gigi, what's up? I'm good, Naruto-kun. I see you came by for your team assignment, no? Yeah Gigi, I came by for my team assignment. Well, Team 7 should be at Training Ground 7 now. They usually meet at the Shimuki Bridge in the Southeast District before they head over to train. Okay Gigi, I'm heading over there now. Oh Naruto, wait a moment. I have something important I want to talk to you about. What it is about Gigi? It's about your father. Oh Jiraiya. Sama said he knew him and that he would be really proud of me. I don't need to know any more than he died while serving Konoha. I have accepted my lot in life. Oh yes, that he would be very proud of you, but there is more. He gave me special instructions that when you turn 16, became Chunin or you have demonstrated enough maturity to handle the information that you're about to receive. I swore to him that I would not fail him. You see, this is for me as much as it is for you. Naruto felt someone was getting closer just then. A small boy with a long scarf burst through the door of the Hokage's office, dragging the clerk along with him. I'm gonna defeat you now and become Hokage. He stumbled and landed on his scarf right after finishing his sentence. When he looked up, Naruto was staring at him with interest. Hey, you tripped me. Believing that the strange kid in front of him was tripping him, the boy yelled at Naruto. No, I didn't trip you. You tripped on yourself. I'm the Hokage's grandson and I said that you tripped me. What you gonna do about it? The Sandaime thought, Kono.kun is the wrong person. Naruto struck the startled boy on the head with a forceful blow. At the same moment, Ebisu entered and witnessed Naruto hitting Konohamaru in the head. OWWWWWW. The young child exclaimed after taking a severe blow. Naruto conversed with the boy. The first hit was for charging into your opponent without knowing your surroundings. The second hit was for thinking that your name will save you from punishment. Your enemies won't spare you because you come from a certain clan or have a certain name. Konohamaru was taken aback. He had never experienced such treatment, much less being struck so severely in front of the Hokage. Ebisu joined in. What is the meaning of this Uzumaki-san? You shouldn't hit the honorable grandson. Says who? He deserved what he got and the Hokage saw everything. He could punish me if my actions towards his grandson were not pleasing to him. Ebisu glanced at the Hokage, who appeared unperturbed by the events that transpired. He ran out of things to say. With a sincere grin and a pat on the head, Naruto knelt down to the startled boy and said, always be aware of your surroundings and don't blame others for your mistakes, okay? Oh okay. Good, I gotta go now, later Gigi. See you later, Naruto. Kuna, we have to finish what we started, Sandaime grinned. Alright, Gigi and Naruto departed to meet his new team. At the bridge leading to Training Ground 7, Sakura, Sasuke, and Satsuko were waiting for their habitually tardy sensei once more. While Sakura was swooning over Sasuke and Satsuko was griping about their deceased sensei, Sasuke was plotting his revenge. They turned to see it was Naruto, approaching them slowly. Hello everyone, nice to meet you all. I'm guessing that this is Team 7, right? When Sakura first saw Naruto, she made an effort to ascertain what it was about the boy that so intrigued Ino. He was not a prodigy like the Uchiha, nor did he have a striking appearance. But if Ino thought he was handsome, then she had eliminated her greatest rival for Sasuke. Satsuko greeted the boy with enthusiasm. Yes, this is Team 7. My name is Satsuko Tamiguchi, but you can call me Suko. Haruno Sakura is the girl with the pink hair plastered on Mr. Sirius, and Mr. Sirius himself is Uchiha Sasuke, who is the Rookie of the Year and top student in the class. Hello everyone, it's good to meet you. My name is Naruto. Your Jonin-sensei is where? With a very direct tone, Sasuke said, I know who you are. That's good to hear, I think, Naruto exclaimed, a little taken aback by the Uchiha's brazenness. Sakura said in a perplexed tone, he's chronically late, at least 3 hours every day. I hope he gets here soon. She wasn't sure what had suddenly affected Sasuke. Naruto perceived an evil force surpassing the Uchiha. Avoiding a confrontation, I asked, oh okay. So what do you all do when he isn't here? We simply wait around, Satsuko remarked. Okay, well I'll be in the training ground when he comes, could you call me please Suko? Sure, but what are you going to do? I'm gonna train until he comes. Why waste time doing nothing? Pointing at Sakura and Sasuke, he said, hey, that sounds cool, mind if I come and train with you? It's kinda difficult trying to work with those two. He thinks everyone is a hindrance and she follows every word of his to the letter and they both look down on me because I'm the dead last. You know, dead last is just a word, right? It means nothing in the greater scheme of things. Anyway, let's go. Just as they were about to walk away, Sasuke's voice interrupted them. Fight me, Naruto. Why? The Uchiha yelled. I know what you did to Mizuki. You're strong. Fight me, let's spar. Uchiha. I don't think so. Our Jonin supervisor isn't here, and I don't want to spar with you, Naruto retorted, finding something offensive in Uchiha's tone. Sasuke questioned, sounding almost incredulous, you refuse me? Yes, Naruto said firmly. The girl stopped short of saying, how dare you, that's Sasu. Naruto snarled, shut up. Sakura's expression was one of shock. Are you Kunoichi or the Uchiha's lapdog? He can speak for himself. Sakura was met with a smile from Tsuko, who thought that Sakura had been expecting it for a while. Besides, our Jonin supervisor is here. Just as they were about to question him, Kakashi appeared right in front of them. Yo, Sakura and Tsuko yelled, you're late, Kakashi, sensei. Ma. I had to assist an elderly woman in carrying her groceries to her residence, the lanky Jonin remarked idly, brushing off the two. Liar! Exclaimed the two. With his typical scowl, Sasuke asked, how did he know Kakashi was about to arrive? Hello there, I am Naruto. I know, I see you were given a warm welcome to Team 7 already. Let's go to the Hokage's office for some missions. Naruto anticipated that these 2 weeks would go by quickly. After arriving at the Hokage Tower, the group waited for their mission assignment in front of the Sandaime. Iruka was sitting at the Hokage's side, giving out mission assignments. Well, I have several missions today for Team Kakashi. I have. Capture the cat of the daimyo's wife, walking dogs, carrying an old lady's bagsha. Tsuko uttered, no, Sandaime. Sama. Tsuko, that's the Sandaime. You can't talk to the Sandaime like that. Making animated gestures, Tsuko exclaimed, but Sakura, all we've been doing for the last month were these crazy D-ranked missions. That cat is the devil, I swear to Kami. It was Iruka's turn to reprimand the young man. Satsuko, you know that D-ranked missions are for young genin such as yourselves to develop teamwork. We could develop our team more if we got a new higher ranked mission, Iruka. Sensei. Doing the same missions over and over again is actually hampering our teamwork. It's become too routine, and you yourself said that routine is dangerous for a ninja, Iruka. Sensei. The boy shocked Iruka so much that he turned his own words against him. Sakura and Sasuke had no choice but to concur with Sakoa. He made a compelling argument. To emphasize Tsuko's point, Sakura remarked, Tsuko's right, Iruka-sensei, you did say that in class, and Sasuke nodded. Iruka was surrounded by his students, making it impossible for him to speak. He hugged Sakura and Sasuke and said, you see, Iruka. Sensei, Tsuko said our teamwork is pretty good, don't you think? With a mischievous smile on his face. The Sandaime chuckled, then burst out laughing. Everybody looked at him. Well done, Team 7, well done. Okay, I have a very basic escort C-ranked mission here to the Land of Waves if your Jonin-sensei thinks that you're ready. Kakashi, you think that they're up for it? Tsuko begged, pleasey. Alright, then I'll take on the mission. Kakashi was aware that having Naruto on the team increased the mission's chances of success. He was more than capable of handling himself and had battle experience. The others could learn a lot from him. Sakura and Tsuko exclaimed, yes, simultaneously, and Sasuke grinned sardonically. Naruto's expression was expressionless. Okay, here's your client. Tazuna, the bridge builder, entered. He was an elderly, plump man with a sake scent. I asked for shinobi, not a bunch of snot-nosed brats. Hey, I'm not a snot-nosed brat, you old drunkard, said Tsuko. Tsuko-san, that's our client. He may be a drunkard, but he is paying us, said Naruto. Hey, what's up with you, midget? I'm no drunkard, I'm just a great appreciator of fine sake. The man's taunt at his height, if you say so, Tazuna-san, didn't bother Naruto in the slightest. Okay guys, you have 2 hours to pack for a 2-week-long trip, Kakashi said. Every one of the 4 children parted ways, each with a different degree of excitement. Sasuke was happy that he would now have the opportunity to confront more formidable fighters. Since it was Satsuko's first C-ranked mission, he was thrilled. Sakura was happy that Sasuke would be with her outside of Konoha and that Ino would not be present. For the first time, Naruto would be able to leave Konoha's walls, which thrilled him. But as he started to consider that he wouldn't be seeing Hinata for nearly 2 weeks, his mood started to wane. At the 8th training ground, Team Kurenai's genin were taking a brief break from their sparring match. Though a little worn out, they were all content. Kurenai was particularly pleased with Hinata, the one who improved the most out of the 3. She was more focused on her grace than the stiff form of the traditional Jukin, and she was also more determined. Because Kiba and Shino were finding it hard to keep up with her in sparring, they found themselves training more. It was a very constructive rivalry. Kurenai was certain that Naruto was involved in the transformation that defeated Hinata. She felt a connection between them from the moment they met. When Naruto arrived, they were taking a break beneath one of the training ground's big trees. "Hey guys, what's up?" With a toothy grin, Kiba said, "Hey, Dobi, you good?" "Hey Naruto, it's good to see you again," Shino said, giving a small nod. When Hinata saw Naruto, her smile brightened. She said in an incredibly sweet voice, "Hello Naruto-kun." He called out, "Hey Hinata-chan," in a very sweet voice. Kiba turned to face Hinata after turning to face Naruto, but before he could say anything, Kurenai gave him a severe glare that instantly silenced him. Kurenai said, "Hello Naruto-kun, what brings you here?" "I came to tell Hinata that I'm going on a C-rank mission with Team 7 and I won't be back for about 2 weeks." Kiba yelled, "Team 7 got a C rank already?" "Yes, to Wave Country, oh. Okay, be careful Naruto-kun." Shino warned Naruto to use caution. Kiba continued to complain that he hadn't yet received a mission with a higher level. "They really like each other, I wonder if they're dating?" Kurenai said with a tiny smile on her face. "Thanks you all and I'll see you in 2 weeks' time Hinata-chan." "Oh okay Naruto-kun." Kurenai winked at Hinata, indicating to her that she was aware of a romantic relationship between her and Naruto. The shy girl's face took on a tomato, like hue. Additionally, Naruto told Old Man Mayushi about his mission outside the boundaries of Konoha. In Mayushi's store, as the elderly man was tidying his store, he noticed Naruto approaching. "Hello snot-nosed brat, you done for the day already?" "No old coot, I got my first mission outside the village, we're going to Wave Country." "Ah. Your first venture outside the village walls. Remember that if you open your heart to your sword you can speak to it and ask for its help." The boy said, "Hi old man, I will see you in 2 weeks," as he was walking away. "Yes brat and don't get yourself killed, humph, old coot." "Brat." Naruto then departed to prepare for the journey. As asked, Naruto returned to the meeting place. Kakashi hadn't arrived yet, but he met Tazuna and the rest of Team 7 there. Naruto had no supplies and no backpack, as Suko saw. "Hey Naruto, why don't you have any supplies?" "Oh I don't worry, it's nothing, I don't need any." "Why don't you have money?" "Nope." "What about the missions you did with the other teams, didn't you get pay?" Sakura asked. "Nope, I've forfeited my salary for the next 2 months because of my actions towards Mizuki on the first day of class." "So you're not getting paid for this mission?" "No I am not." Sakura and Sasuke found this to be intriguing. "So how are you going to eat and drink?" The boy casually remarked, "I'll just hunt for food and drink water from a stream or something." Sakura questioned, "You seem as though it's not a problem." "I sound so, because it isn't a problem. I'll have to ask him about that," the Uchiha thought as Sasuke gave the boy a questioning glance. Then Kakashi showed up, saying, "You arrived on time," simultaneously, Suko and Sakura. "Yup, we can't keep our clients waiting," he said. "Tazuna-san ready to go?" The elderly man remarked, hick, "Yeah, I'm ready to go." "Now listen up," Kakashi said. "Wave is 1 week away on foot so we'll take it at a nice easy pace, okay?" "Hi," all 4 kids said in unison, after 3 days on the mission. Suko and Naruto were discussing fighting and what it's like to be a samurai in a village of ninjas. It was Sakura's usual routine of being enamored with Sasuke and making futile attempts to ask him out on a date. Tazuna was also discussing Wave Country and the actions of the bridge builder. It was midday as the group was traveling on a dirt road when Naruto noticed 2 key signatures far ahead of them. He approached Kakashi to let him know. "Kakashi-san, I sense 2 signatures straight ahead in that water puddle," he said in a low voice. "Very good Naruto, I sensed them as well. Everyone stay on guard. Sasuke and Naruto you take the sides. Sakura and Suko you take the rear and I'll take the front." Everyone obeyed his commands right away. Sasuke became alert and on guard as soon as he noticed Naruto moving to stand beside Kakashi. Although Kakashi's statement merely affirmed his knowledge of the situation, where was the attack coming from? Before noticing the puddle in the middle of the road, he looked everywhere. That concludes it, the puddly at last, some movement. Kakashi was attacked by the demon brothers as he was walking by the puddle. When Sakura and Suko saw Kakashi torn to pieces, the 4 children were all shocked. One down the pair said, with 2 kunai, Sasuke instantly launched himself into action and pinned the brothers to a big tree by the side of the road. Naruto took immediate action to shield Sasuke from harm and to guard Tazuna. He sensed the man's signature in one of the surrounding trees, so he knew Kakashi was safe. The man was watching to see how his team would respond to the circumstance. Releasing themselves from their reins, the two shinobi launched another attack on the Uchiha. This time, he avoided their attempt to clothe line him by leaping over them and breaking their chains with a split kick to the head. Guzu remarked, "Brother, the little brat is tough." Indeed, Mizu answered in the affirmative, "He is tough. I'll go for the bridge builder and you take out the brats." "All right," Mizu replied, hurrying Sasuke. While traveling to Tazuna, Gozu noticed two potential shinobi in front of his target and one right in front of them, both of them wearing a red sash and a pure black kimono. "Ha! A samurai? You little piece of shish. Are you crazy? We have already eliminated your Jonin sensei, so you cannot stop us. Move aside so I can kill the elderly man." "You're not just stupid, you're dumb. First of all, there's a reason why Kakashi-san is a Jonin. You could never kill him so easily." Naruto drew his two swords and said, "Number 2, we're here to protect our client, you're not getting to him." At that moment, he heard the same voice that had addressed him during his battle with Mizuki. "Pay attention. Your gauntlets reek of poison, just a nick of those claws and you enemy is doomed. Hey, you have a nice nose, but it won't be useful where I'm sending you. You don't frighten me and I think I'll relieve you of those nasty little gauntlets. So you believe you're strong enough to handle me? You're weak and stupid, you won't beat me, and I don't make idle threats." When Sakura heard those words, her eyes widened. Naruto was being serious, just as he had been when he had threatened Mizuki in class. Gozu was so furious that he lost all sense of reason and underestimated the boy in front of him. He tried to impale the boy with his right hand, but it was sliced off abruptly. "Arg! You severed my limb. You're not only weak and stupid but also dumb as well." Kakashi was aware of what the boy was doing, and he was doing a fantastic job of unnerving his opponent. Gozu became even more enraged as a result, and he foolishly charged in again, this time attempting to punch the boy with his left hand, which he lost as quickly as he did his right. Who are you? This was not how this was supposed to turn out. It was supposed to be a simple task. You and your comrade met your demise due to two mistakes that you made. First mistake. You must be able to adapt because no mission is ever simple and is always unpredictable. Error number 2. You misjudged your opponent, and I've already made it clear that I don't just throw threats around. The reports are accurate. Yeah, he is truly vicious, Kakashi pondered. As Sakura, Tsuko, and Tazuna observed the exhibit in amazement, Sakura thought, the rumors were true. Naruto did cut Mizuki to pieces. It's awesome, Tsuko thought. In the interim, however, Mizu was engaged in a fierce close quarters fighting match with the young brat, who was extremely strong and skilled in taijutsu. You're pretty tough for a brat. I'm a Uchiha and we're the elite, you can't beat me. Aha! I don't see you using your Sharingan, an Uchiha. I don't need to grace scum like you with the beauty of the Sharingan. Why, you little arrogant brat? He was about to charge when he heard his brother's agonized cry and turned to see him without hands, on his knees. Sasuke used his brother's situation as a distraction and used it to his advantage by dealing him several devastating blows. This job was supposed to be easy, he thought to himself as he collapsed. Kakashi was pleased with the group since they performed admirably. Just as Tazuna and the children were regrouping, Kakashi showed up. You're still alive, Kakashi. Sensei, Sakura and Tsuko both said at once. Kakashi gestured toward the broken log on the ground. Sasuke uttered, Kawarimi no Jutsu. After turning to face the two missing nin's bodies, Kakashi said, I'll be back in just a bit, and carried their bodies into the thicket nearby. The group felt a strong heat emanating from the thicket and heard two slicing noises. How is he acting? Tsuko inquired. He is removing their heads and burning the corpses. Naruto remarked, they were missing nins. Where are the nins? Fearfully, Tsuko and Sakura uttered. Yes, there were missing ninjas, Kakashi acknowledged. You guys did great, especially you two. He pointed to Sasuke and Naruto. I think I see a nice team forming here, he said, gesturing to Sakura and Tsuko. You two never left our client's side and protected him. Naruto's expression was neutral, while Sakura, Tsuko, and Sasuke all had smiles on their faces. Tazuna, would you mind explaining why two C-class nuclear ninjas are pursuing your head? Asked the Jonin. This mission has been upgraded from a C rank to an A rank. The thought of an A-ranked mission made Sakura and Tsuko a little reflective, but Sasuke's wide smile at the news of a mission upgrade and defeating a nuke.nin. After hearing all the specifics, Kakashi started talking. Tazuna continued to tell his story about Gato and what he was doing to Wave Country. I have to go back to the village because you lied to the Hokage according to shinobi rules. This concludes our mission. Only a group of shinobi at the Chunin or even Jonin level may complete this mission. But Kakashi-sensei, we can accomplish this task, Tsuko remarked, and Sasuke gave a nod of agreement. This mission is excessively risky even without missing .nin. These two are C-rank nuke. Nins, and higher-level shinobi will be sent by their employer if they don't return. I won't endanger your lives in this manner. Sakura was relieved, Sasuke was furious, and Tsuko was dejected. I will stay behind and escort and protect Tazuna.san, Naruto said as he started to speak. Everyone looked up at Naruto, saying, "What? Here, I'm the dominant Jonin, and you'll do as I say." I apologize to Kakashi.san, but I cannot let this man die because if I do, the nation will collapse and its citizens will suffer. I'm not going to let that happen. Naruto, you are disobeying a higher officer's orders, which is a serious offense. When we get back, I'll bring this up with the Hokage. Kakashi uttered those words in a grave tone. I am prepared to face the consequences of my actions, but as I said before, I will not allow innocent people to suffer under the hands of a tyrant. The boy's unwavering resolve impressed the others. Just like his father, Kakashi exclaimed as he turned to face the boy and performed a series of hand seals known as Kachiyose no Jutsu. A puff of smoke appeared, and one of his ninja dogs, Pakun, emerged. Kakashi gave Pakun an explanation of what was happening and sent him on his way. Okay, everyone, we are officially on an A-rank mission. Keep an eye out for danger at all times, as we will be moving quickly. Be ready to face more experienced shinobi, and always remember to cooperate. Just so you know, Tazuna.san, your pay grade has increased to A-rank. With a nod of approval, the man turned to face Naruto and said, "Thank you." Naruto gave the man a simple nod. We maintain our previous formation, Kakashi said, creating a cage bunshin to carry Tazuna as they carried out their now improved mission. When they finally made camp, it was getting dark, and they were all sitting around the campfire talking to each other. Hi Naruto, you and Sasuke fought really well today, Tsuko remarked, looking a little dejected due to his incapacity to fight. Recognizing the boy's perspective, I replied, "Thank you, but your duty was just as important. You saved the client's life. Without him, not only would we fail the mission, but the entire nation would fall apart." But Naruto, I'm not a good fighter and I was the dead last in my class. Dead last is just a phrase, just a single word? The boy questioned, perplexed. Indeed, they are nothing more than air, words, and a mental label placed on you to make other people feel good about themselves. Among all of us, my friend, you have the greatest potential. Are you serious? How? Tsuko questioned incredulously. By now, even Kakashi, who was reading his beloved Icha Icha book, was listening in on the conversation. My sensei taught me a valuable lesson. Would you like to learn it? I used to feel the same way as you. Yes, indeed. Tsuko uttered. Could you fill Tsuko's already full glass? No, why? The boy gave a perplexed response. The same holds true for people. You're as full as a glass of water if you already feel that you know everything and are competent in every endeavor. You cannot develop and grow any further. Nothing more can be added. I think I understand. What matters in a war is that you do what is asked of you and honorably serve your country. Nobody is interested in your class ranking. You have what it takes to succeed. Sakoa, put in the effort, overcome your weaknesses, and never give up. With immense gratitude, thank you, Naruto. No issue, Tsuko said. I assume you have a cool sensei? What? That aging, cruel, smug, cool guy, perhaps, I suppose. The boy with the blonde hair answered. What skills did he teach you? Tsuko carried on with the brief interrogation. How to use two swords at once in battle strategy. Are you a chakra user? I don't use chakra, sorry, I make use of ki. Are you serious? That seems really cool. Extremely fascinating, Kakashi thought. Something made a HMPH sound from Sasuke. Sakura turned to face the boy and exclaimed, Naruto. Maybe Ino was right, he's very different. Sakura seized the chance to pose the query she had always wanted to ask Naruto. Naruto, did you really chop Mizuki to pieces? Indeed, why do you inquire? What made you do it? He was a betrayer, having betrayed the country of fire and Konoha in the sake of power. He received his just deserts. Oh, I see. But wasn't that mean? I'll pose the same query to you that I did to Ino.san. Are you here to impress Sasuke, or are you one of Konoha's kunoichi? With a stern expression on his face, he pointed to Sasuke. The girl was unable to respond. I've witnessed your fruitless flirtation with him. You are so unaware of your surroundings that you would instantly perish without Kakashi-san's presence. Your stupid habits would have caused you to fail both the mission and your village. But, you're a professional kunoichi of Konoha. Such actions are not needed in the field and bring disgrace to the serious kunoichi of Konoha, Naruto interrupted her. As a serious shinobi, Sasuke believes that his actions matter and that giving up is not an option. If you're smitten with him, learn from his mistakes and commit to being a true kunoichi. It is a huge responsibility to know that the people of Konoha and Fire Country depend on you for their survival and protection. You had better give up if you turn shinobi in an attempt to win Sasuke over, as doing so will only lead to the downfall of your team. Moreover, this is the life of a shinobi who serves Hai no Kuni. We cannot avoid death, which follows us every day. If you were called upon to kill a traitor, what would you do? Say it's awful or too harsh? Sakura was stunned into quietness. You're currently well on your way to achieving that goal, so don't let kunoichi Sakura-san down. After Naruto was done, he went over to a tree and sat with one knee up, leaning on the tree with his katana on his chest. Right now we are on a very dangerous mission. You need to get your mind away from Sasuke and on the mission. Sasuke was ecstatic, thinking that maybe Naruto's words would make the girl understand. They were a little harsh, but she needed to hear them. He was beginning to respect the blonde boy. He was a worthy rival who wasn't afraid to act brutally against those who opposed him. The mission became too dangerous for her to be acting that way, and Kakashi felt that the words were a little harsh. He would have to speak with her about it further. Sakura was thinking deeply about what Naruto had said, asking herself, am I really going to be a disgrace to kunoichi? His comments nearly brought Sakura to tears, and she was unable to even defend herself with the typical weak and childish justifications. She started to feel doubtful and tears started to well up in her eyes as the boy's words, right now we are on a very dangerous mission. You need to get mind away from Sasuke and on the mission, replayed in her head. She decided to focus her attention on the mission and forget about Sasuke, taking care of everything else afterward. Trying to steer the conversation in a different direction, Tsuko asked his sensei, why does Naruto sleep like that every time we rest for the night, Kakashi-sensei? Well, Tsuko is prepared to respond and engage in combat at any time when he is in that posture. He is alert as ever. He has a keen sense of danger, so I highly doubt that he would even think about camping or sleeping in a tent. How did he develop such a sense of awareness? How can I learn it? Sasuke wondered, fascinated by this new information. Tsuko turned to face the boy and said, but sensei, does he sleep? I assume that's the case. He does it instinctively now that he's so used to being alert. It would be impossible for you to approach him without warning him. I need to investigate that theory, Tsuko pondered. Seeing the boy's expression, Kakashi knew exactly what to do. I'll let him learn the hard way because he wouldn't let it go any other way, the Jonin pondered. At Zabuza's secret location, so the demon brothers were defeated by a bunch of brats. Yes, we may have underestimated the strength of the leaf shinobi sent to protect our target, Haku said. Well, Haku, doesn't this just make things more interesting? Yes, Zabuza. Sama, we may have a sterner test than we anticipated. Should we give them a call tomorrow? Yes, Zabuza. Sama, let's pay them a visit tomorrow? They had no idea that they would meet their death tomorrow. The following morning, Tsuko got up earlier than everyone else in order to try and sneak up on Naruto. Don't do it, Tsuko, Kakashi whispered to himself as the boy approached Naruto. He was 8 feet away from Tsuko, and his anxiety was mounting. His excitement was building from 7 feet away. From 6 feet away, Tsuko, please don't try to sneak up on me. Sneaking up on someone while they're sleeping is impolite. Tsuko was taken aback. How were you aware that it was me? The commotion woke up everyone else gradually. The boy responded in a mysterious way, everyone has a signature. Alright everyone, eat a light breakfast and then we leave, Kakashi said. They all uttered, hi, at once. They ate a light breakfast as Kakashi had instructed, then left the camp. It was about midday as they made their way to the edge of the water when Naruto warned them that there was danger. We are being watched, everyone. Please sign both sides. Kakashi said, remember, be careful and work together, in a cautiously low voice. There was a loud whirling sound coming from their direction as he was finishing his sentence. Saying, duck. Kakashi, the moment Zabuza had released his sword, Naruto had known that an attack was imminent. He had already moved aside, having calculated the blade's trajectory. He already had Hagashi Seishin and Yuarakai Tei facing Zabuza in his hands. The others lifted their heads to observe the stranger. To everyone's amazement, including Naruto, Kakashi revealed Momochi Zabuza, also known as the Devil of the Hidden Mist and former member of the Kiri Shinobi Katana Nananan Shu. On the day he was supposed to report to the academy to meet his team, Sensei succeeded in obtaining a copy of the Shinobi Bingo book. "Ah, I'm honored that the Kakashi of the Sharingan knows me." Sharingan was uttered by Sasuke. My Kakashi, keeping secrets from the little brats? What goes on between me and my students is not your concern. Ha 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 ha, the big man chuckled. I see you're carrying a young samurai. I had no idea Konoha was also a samurai trainer. He strikes the ideal stance and doesn't make any space. Instead of ducking, which would have left gaps, he dodged sideways to avoid my attack. The man went on assessing Naruto, saying, "Impressive, you must have had a good teacher." He gasped, asking, "Brat, where did you get those swords?" as he looked at Yuarakai Tei and Hagashi Seishin. "That is not a concern of yours," Naruto answered. "Dickhead. With the holy swords of Masamune, what are you doing? These are extremely valuable and strong blades." Holy swords? How come the old coot didn't tell me they were holy swords? Thought Naruto. Who gave you the Natojutsu idea? That fashion ought to be obsolete, unless... Zabuza repeated the question. Naruto answered, "That's none of your concern either." Everyone was perplexed as to why Naruto's swords were causing the man such distress. The brief exchange was cut off by Kakashi, who said, "Zabuza, what do you want with my client and my subordinate?" "It goes without saying that I would want to kill your client. I get paid a nice sum of money for his head. That brat samurai there has two extremely rare swords and a formidable kenjutsu technique. Please move aside as I have no beef with you." Hearing about rare swords and strong kenjutsu style made Sasuke sit up. "I cannot allow that, Zabuza. You need to take your quarrel up with me." "Very well then, Kakashi, your life and those of your brats are forfeit." Zabuza then started to reveal his intentions to kill, to which Kakashi responded. The air became heavy, causing Tazuna and the three genin to choke. "I want to kill myself because of this pressure," Sasuke thought. When Sakura started crying, Tsuko felt like puking, and Tazuna wanted something to drink. They noticed that Naruto was the source of the gentle calm that had replaced the oppressive killing intent from the two men. Sensing the beginning of Kakashi and Zabuza's oppressive killing intent, Naruto started to project his ki as a thin barrier around his group, which dispelled the two high Jonin's oppressive fighting spirit. He has eliminated the intention to kill, but how did he accomplish it? Sasuke wondered. Unaware that they were holding in breath, Sakura, Tsuko, and Tazuna all let it out. "Keep your head in the game, Sasuke. There's still one more hidden shinobi you may have to engage." "The shinobi is where?" the young man inquired. "Towards you. It appears that the shinobi is awaiting something at 10 o'clock. Perhaps the result of Kakashi and Zabuza's fight." The Uchiha agreed, saying, "HMPH," along with Zabuza and Kakashi. The two went into a furious taijutsu duel, with Kakashi possessing greater skill and agility and Zabuza having the advantage of his weapon. "Your name is well-deserved, Kakashi, and so is yours, Zabuza. I see you have a pretty interesting samurai brat there. He dispelled our killing intent." "Yes, he's very capable, so are all the others under my command." "Hey, time to stop playing," Zabuza exclaimed as he leapt away from the body of water close to Kirigakure no Jutsu. At that moment, a thick fog covered the entire area. When the mist rolled in and Zabuza started his little speech of terror, Sakura started to hyperventilate. Turning to Sakura, Kakashi comforted her, saying, "Don't worry, I won't let my comrades die." At that moment, Zabuza materialized between the children and Tazuna, but before he could react, a sword pierced his head, and the Bunshin instantly vanished into the water. The statement, "Play your little tricks somewhere else, Zabuza, you're not getting near our client," was made by Naruto calmly while closing his eyes, surprising everyone. "He's closed his eyes," Sasuke thought. "I told you already, Zabuza, my subordinates are very capable." "The samurai kid is very skillful," Haku observed, not realizing that she had already been spotted. "This mission is rapidly getting out of hand." Zabuza sensed a kunai's tip against his throat. Haku tensed up, nervous, ready to jump into action to save Zabuza because she feared for his life. The shinobi was working for the enemy, and Naruto sensed her fear and anxiety. It caused a significant disruption in his field of awareness. Sasuke, the other shinobi, is working for the enemy, prepare to engage him. Sasuke gave a nod of approval. It's not about Zabuza, Kakashi said, slashing his throat. The Zabuza changed its form and said, Mizu Bunshin? Just then, Kakashi was sliced in half by another Zabuza that materialized behind him. Sakura started to cry. Sakura, relax. Everything will be fine, Naruto uttered while keeping his eyes closed. Glancing up, she witnessed Kakashi transform into water, another Mizu Bunshin. There was an attack coming from behind him, so Zabuza turned and used his free hand to block the attack before slashing with his massive Zanbuto. Kakashi had to dodge, but he made the mistake of diving into the nearby water, which rendered him immobile. Zabuza uttered the words, Suiten, Suiro no Jutsu, while erecting the water prison around Kakashi. As the fog lifted, Kakashi was apprehended. Ha 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 ha. We've caught the legendary Hitaki Kakashi. The menacing Nin said, now to take care of your little brats and the bridge builder. Run you all, leave me behind, fight and you'll be killed. Kakashi-san, you know better than that. You know that I cannot run away from battle. I cannot allow harm to come to my comrades. He's right, Hitaki. He's a samurai. It would be a disgrace to leave you here. It goes against his code. Sasuke, we need to keep this shinobi team separate. You go and engage him and let Tsuko back you up. Sakura, I want you to take Tazuna back the way we came, about 50 to 60 feet away. If things get grim, I want you escape and await the support from Konoha. Tsuko questioned, what are you going to do, Naruto? I will free Kakashi-san, then come to support you and Sasuke. Everyone understands. Hi, was their collective response. Naruto had one more thing to say before they all departed. Hey guys, be careful and don't be reckless, Sasuke, you don't know the strength of the shinobi. As they completed their tasks, Sasuke acknowledged with a nod of his head. Zabuza burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha, you seem to be a very capable team leader. You're an interesting one. You think you can save your Jonin caretaker all alone? I think I will free him. I know I will free him. I don't make idle statements. 5 water clones materialized and charged the boy. Ha 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 ha, let's dance then. Let me see how you handle a few of my Bunshin. Mizu Bunshin no Jutsu, Zabuza uttered. The boy was struck by a horizontal slash from the first Bunshin. The arc was too wide, making it easy to avoid. Timed his leap to land on the blade's flat, Naruto used the momentum from the slash to launch himself straight into the startled, second, rushing Bunshin. The second Bunshin scattered into the water, too shocked to react when the katana plunged straight into its skull. It's a really good kid, considering his age, Zabuza thought. Inside his water prison, Kakashi thought, he's as skilled as they say. Using the last of his momentum, Naruto rolled forward and came to a keeling stop. As soon as he did, the third Bunshin charged at him. He avoided the downward slash to his left, only to be met with a forward thrust from the final Bunshin. As he parried the forward thrust with his wakizashi, he was attacked from behind by the first Bunshin, putting him in front of all 4 Mizu Bunshin. Well done, fantastic child, you had a very skilled Kenjutsu instructor. You knew you would be outmatched if you attempted to block the swords even once. You did so well, kid, that you even sidestepped a backward attack. You talk as though you're going to murder me, not had. But I have an excellent Kenjutsu teacher. With the fire consuming every part of his body, Naruto remained silent. The excitement of battle was beginning to wear off, and he was itching for more. From way over here, I can sense your Tushi, or fighting spirit. Zabuza formed 5 more Bunshin around the boy, surrounding him with the other 4. Let me add in some more Bunshin, let's see how well you do against 9 of them. A tiny smile spread across Naruto's face. Naruto is grinning, he's loving the fight. He doesn't care about his life. A true samurai, Kakashi thought to himself. To confront Death Head. You relish the intensity of combat. You really are a samurai. To kill you, Wakamusha, would be both an honor and a tragedy. Then, all of the Bunshin attacked at once, alongside Sasuke and Haku. She must have had a sensor type ninja among them, but it took skill for them to find her, so Haku decided to try and find out why she was being attacked. How did you find me? Haku asked the 2 people in front of her, with Sasuke in the lead and Tsuko providing long-range support from a good distance behind. Then, as if we're going to tell you, Sasuke shot back in a harsh manner. In an attempt to defuse the situation, Haku said, I'm Akiri Onin. I mean you no harm. You're no Onin, you're Zabuza's accomplice, Tsuko said, we're not fooled by you. Well, I guess there's no escaping then. Sasuke assumed his combat stance. Prepare yourselves, Haku said as she threw herself at Sasuke. Zabuza and Naruto. Zabuza was growing irritated with the boy, who was starting to act like a brat, even though he was grinning. Despite their best efforts, the Mizu Bunshin was unable to hit the boy. Instead, he appeared to be flowing in and out of his attacks with amazing speed. In addition, the boy appeared to have eyes behind his head, as he was able to block back attacks without even turning to face his attacker. Naruto was engaged in a lethal dance of death. Each cut, thrust, swipe, and deflection enhanced the boy's Tushi. Amidst the flurry of blades, he perceived the voice once more, sounding more distinct. Naruto, you're improving. Kakashi's fear is growing as he faces 14 Bunshin, all hacking and slashing away at him. Zabuza, frustrated, sends out 5 more Bunshin to finish off the annoying brat. However, Naruto was having a different experience. He found a heightened sense of awareness among the storm of blades. A stillness. A silence as if he was at peace. He was at the razor's edge of life and death, the home of a true samurai. A moment in the past. In the forest of death, Naruto faced Mayushi. A real technique I'm going to teach you now, young one, is called in. One timing. It simply means to wait for an opportunity to come along and seize it to deal one final, lethal blow. The blend of speed and evasion is the secret to this tactic. You have to dodge until your adversary becomes vulnerable, and then you have to strike them quickly to eliminate them with one blow. So, how will I go about doing that? You will first begin by drawing a circle that represents your Chika.ma. The boy followed instructions. The man, gathering leaves from the ground, said, "Now you are not to move from that circle. I am going to throw these leaves in the air within your range. Keep your distance from the ground and destroy anything that tries to enter the circle, which is your domain. Don't let a leaf touch the ground." Naruto called this exercise the falling leaf exercise of death, and he practiced it until he could chop down 50 leaves without a single one falling to the ground. Close the flashback. The Bunshin were getting frustrated because they were finding it extremely difficult to kill the little brat in front of them, despite their best efforts, and as a result, holes started to appear in their form. Once more, the voice said, "Dance at the edge of life and death," to the boy. The voice spoke louder, as though agitated, as Naruto ducked and thrust, redirected and slashed. Yes, Naruto, flowed like a falling leaf while dancing the eternal dance of battle. Time seemed to slow down as the boy inhaled in the chaos of blades. What had once been tiny holes in the Bunshin form appeared to be wide chasms. The young samurai whispered, "Now is the time," and performed the Nitojutsu, Buyu no Skikia Ha, Dance of the Falling Leaves. Alongside Sasuke and Haku. Sasuke and Haku were both nimble and quick, so their hands and feet clashed in a lightning fast taijutsu battle that ended in a stalemate that set up a ninjutsu fight, which Sasuke started. He yelled, "Kaden! Gukakyu no Jutsu," as he threw a huge fireball at the Zabuza's accomplice. Haku was engulfed in flames because he was too close to avoid them. "Yes, we have him," Tsuko yelled. Haku said, "No even close," as she fell from a nearby tree. "You created a Bunshin and exchanged roles with it," Sasuke remarked, examining the actions of the shinobi who had come before him. "Very good analysis, Uchiha. How are you aware that my race is Uchiha?" "I knew that only the Uchiha are known to wear that crest because of the Uchiha crest on the back of your shirt. It's my turn now, Sweeten." "Mizurapa," Haku yelled as she sprayed the Uchiha, striking him in the chest with a jet stream of water. Aiming to get rid of the bother, Haku closed in on Tsuko. The boy got ready to defend himself, but Haku was stopped by a kick to the chest. Tsuko saw an opening and launched a wave of kunai at Haku, who blocked them with her own. "Kawarimi no Jutsu means that replacements can be made by someone other than you," Sasuke remarked as he reappeared between Tsuko and Haku. "It appears so. Uchiha, you're a skilled fighter who upholds the honor of your clan." "HN," was the boy's nonverbal response. Haku took a few steps backward to put some distance between herself and her enemies. Haiden. Isu Hari Renda, Ice Needle Barrage, saw Sasuke and Tsuko targeted by a shower of ice needles. Alongside Sakura and Tazuna, Sakura followed Naruto's instructions and removed the elderly man to a secure distance. Not only was she worried about Sasuke, but she was also worried about her teammates. Ever since she was humiliated by Naruto a few days prior, she had given much thought to why she had decided to become a shinobi in Konoha, and she discovered that none of the reasons had anything to do with her. Her small rivalry and friendship with Ino, her crush on Sasuke, and the general respect that shinobi are accorded by the public. She realized that she needed to discover her own motivation for being a kunoichi of Konoha, her own reason for fighting. There were parts of her that wanted to be involved in the action, parts that were content to stand aside and prove themselves, but for the time being, she had a job to do, and that's what she's going to do. She couldn't let her team down, she couldn't bring Kunoichi shame, and she would succeed in this mission. Alongside Naruto and Zabuza. The battle changed in an instant when Naruto whispered Buyu no Skikia ha, Dance of the Falling Leaves. Instead of facing a horde or Mizu Bunshin, he was now in the center of his circle, chopping down any leaves that came in the path of his sword. Zabuza and Kakashi were both taken aback by the boy's display. Naruto was by himself, staring at his swords. A small smile appeared on his face, then burst into uncontrollable laughter. Ha 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 ha. The boy began to swish his blades left and right and laughed uncontrollably. Has he gone insane? Kakashi wondered. Zabuza recognized Kakashi's thought process from the expression on his face. No, he's not insane. He's just figured out a new trick. Since you're not a swordsman, you can't relate. The sense of great satisfaction that a swordsman gets when he learns a new technique in the heat of battle is unfathomable. Despite being a wakamusha, he has powerful tushi. This kid has the heart of a warrior, and I want to fight him. Excitedly, Naruto leapt, flipped, and exclaimed, RRRRGHHHH, ha. 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 His body went rigid with anticipation. Naruto, please calm down. I need to. He was able to regain his composure as his breathing became more calm and his excitement gradually subsided. He reverted to his combat stance. Naruto grinned confidently and said, Come you fool, let me cut you to pieces, or are you too scared to face a wakamusha? This is my space, and in my space I am king. Having been somewhat irritated, Zabuza created another Mizu Bunshin, which he utilized to keep the water prison in good working order. Standing with his Zanbato drawn, Zabuza declared, I gonna enjoy gutting you wakamusha. You had a promising career ahead of you. That is, until you met me. With a confident voice, Naruto declared, My life will not be claimed this day, feeling a calming power emanating from his swords. Ha ha ha, alright, wakamusha, let's dance, Zabuza exclaimed, assuming his prepared position. Alongside Sasuke and Haku. Sasuke suffered multiple cuts all over his body and just managed to avoid all of the ice needles. Because of his inferior agility compared to Sasuke's, Tsuko was in worse shape. When Sasuke saw his teammate's body covered in blood even more than his own, he was struck once more with an overwhelming sense of helplessness. Memories of the evening of the Uchiha massacre flashed through his mind. His mind was hammered by his failure to save his family and clan. No, 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 not again, not again. The final Uchiha cried out, holding his head, as Sasuke started to shake his head in an attempt to shake those thoughts out of his head. Haku wondered, what is happening to him? Tsuko, who was barely conscious, uttered a raspy voice, Sasuke, are you alright? It is time I sent you two to the other world, it's no use making you suffer like this. Tsuko, I want you to head back to Sakura and the old man. Let Sakura heal you before your wounds kill you. No Sasuke, we're teammates and I'm not leaving you behind. You need to go Tsuko, if you stay you will die. I rather die like this, than run like a coward. You stubborn fool, get behind me and when you get an opening launch your attack as before. Roger. Useless. You'll finish your conversation in the afterlife. Haiden. Isuhari Renda, Haku said. The two boys were once again showered with ice needles. Sasuke noticed that the deadly needles were becoming slower and slower, as if they were not even moving, as he was dodging them. He managed to seize a needle and deflect it by shooting it back at the approaching needle. Before long, the ice was deflecting the kunai, instead of the other way around. What is going on here? Haku thought. One moment he's barely able to dodge, and the next he's deflecting them with ease. Observing the situation, Tsuko recognized his opportunity and launched his kunai in tandem with Sasuke's skillful deflection on the ice needles. As the kunai approached, Haku began performing seals with one hand. But by doing so, she put herself even more on the defensive and lost the ability to keep up the ice needle barrage in Haiden. Isu Kagami Tate, Ice Mirror Shield. You're truly a formidable opponent Uchiha, and the Sharingan lives up to its reputation. Sharingan? Exclaimed a shocked Sasuke. I succeeded, I finally roused it. Time to celebrate, not to be wasted now. He returned to his taijutsu stance. Tsuko, let's go. Tsuko exclaimed, yeah, let's kick his ass, realizing that the battle had turned in their favor. Alongside Naruto and Zabuza. Zabuza charged at the boy with the intention of splitting him in two. Naruto, who was ludicrously outmatched in strength, parried and ducked the blows delivered by the excessively large blade. He found it easy to do this because the blade was large, making it simple to predict and avoid the blows. Though Zabuza knew better, his former Bunshin were growing increasingly irritated with the young samurai. He realized that although the boy was dodging his blows, he was waiting for a chance to attack, so he needed to exercise caution around him. It's been a while since he battled such a formidable Kenjutsu fighter, the big man thought. The lethal dance went on until the two separated by roughly 15 feet, a deadlock. The two faced off once more, with Zabuza using his size and agility to annoy the larger man. Nevertheless, Zabuza was far more experienced in combat than Naruto, and he made good use of this. Acting as though he was going to attack, the big man took a step back to put some distance between himself and the boy and to extend the reach of his sword. He then let out a single, surprisingly fast upward slash. Lacking time to respond, Naruto was only able to block the upward slash by crossing his swords, but the force of the blow sent him skyward. Oh no, he's exposed up in the air, Kakashi thought. Naruto was in the air, deciding what to do next. He had been in similar circumstances before, as the elderly man had instilled in him the value of keeping his equilibrium and center of gravity regardless of the circumstances. Naruto in battle, always maintain your balance and hone your center of gravity. Never lose your balance. Never lose your concentration and you will be able to produce actions appropriate to the situation at hand. Always remember this. Naruto observed Zabuza's stance as he descended and saw that he was attempting to split him in two. This might work, but I have to perfect it or I'll be sliced in half. With a menacing smile on his face, got ya, Zabuza attempted to split the boy in two midair. But what he saw was nothing, not the boy's body sliced in two. What? He exclaimed, turning to face the boy, until he felt an odd weight on his blade. He was in shock that the small brat had executed such a daring attack while in the air. With a smile, Kakashi said, "Nice Naruto." With a forward thrust of his katana, Naruto charged at the big man, saying, "Now it's my turn." Mini flashback. While in the air, Naruto correctly calculated the trajectory of the swing and twisted his body so that it landed on the flat side of the large blade, and moving with the momentum of the swing from the attack. Phew. That was close, the boy thought. Time to finish this. End mini flashback. Zabuza looked on as the katana came straight towards him and smiled. Still wet behind the ears. In one fluid motion, he tilted his head to the side while grabbing the boy's arm in a vice-like grip with one hand. You should know, Wakamusha, that straight thrust is very easy to defend against, especially for a skilled opponent. Instinctively Naruto made a horizontal slash with his katana, but Zabuza was already on to him and let go of his zanbato, throwing the boy off balance. The boy slashed at an angle that made it easy for the man to block the blow. After capturing Naruto, Zabuza started to swing the youngster in a circle and kicked him hard in the chest, pushing the young man toward a big tree that was close by. But Naruto surprised both men once more when he turned around in midair, landing feet first in the tree and then on the ground. Naruto never wastes a movement. At such a young age, such skill, Kakashi thought. Zabuza gave the boy a sincere look as he observed him. You're strong, Wakamusha. It's amazing that there is skill with the sword still present in this world of shinobi and at such a young age as well. The path of the sword has favored you, the man said to the boy. The boy, wiping the blood from his mouth, said, I appreciate your praise, Zabuza-san. It's unfortunate that we had to meet under such circumstances, but you have my comrade as a hostage, and I am here to free him, Naruto said solemnly. Huh? You still believe that you can free Kakashi-san? You're really something, boy? Zabuza was taken aback by Naruto's new stance, but he remained silent. What kind of position is that in Kenjutsu? The big man thought, perplexed. He's right in my grasp, I can use that tactic, Naruto thought. The Death Forest flashback. Now that you have perfected the chance opening blow, I will teach you a method that will enable you to swiftly move into your opponent's area. Really? Naruto exclaimed, taken aback. Yes, this technique is called Koku Sabama, Flying Swallow. Flying Swallow? A bewildered Naruto exclaimed. Yes, it's a combination of a jump, a kick and ki usage. Listen well as I explain. Hi sensei. End of flashback. In a peculiar take on the horse stance, Naruto stood before the big man. He yelled, defend yourself, Zabuza, with gravity before leaping. Mayushi. When you jump first, you greatly confuse your opponent and make them misjudge your movements. They almost always underestimate your actions. Normally, in combat, being airborne makes you vulnerable to attacks, but in this instance, Being airborne makes you extremely dangerous. I'll chop him down as soon as he lands. This kid is impressive for his age, but he needs more battle experience, Zabuza thought to himself. From his prison, Kakashi yelled, Naruto, what are you doing? You just opened yourself up to be attacked. Next, Naruto kicked his back leg with his front leg as his body started to fall because of gravity. Mayushi. Second you kick. As soon as gravity pulls your body downward, you must kick your hind leg with your front leg. When combined with gravity's force, this will propel you forward in midair, overtaking your opponent and, if you're quick enough, out of sight. Zabuza was anticipating something as the boy's body slowly touched the ground. Yes. That's Ida, you're going to die. He was taken aback, though, when the boy abruptly vanished from his line of sight and did so while in midair. What the? He exclaimed, utterly shocked. Mayushi. When you combine the jump, kick, and ki, you get Koku Sabama, a technique that completely surprises your opponent. The best part about this technique is that, once the timing is perfected, you can use it anywhere the necessary conditions are met. While searching for the boy, the big man heard someone below him yell, down here. He had to perform the Kawarimi in order to get away when he looked down and saw the Kakana's blade aiming to cut off his feet. Blade touched flesh, but flesh turned to log very quickly. Naruto spun and threw his wakizashi into the nearby brush, riding the momentum of the low slash. In order to dodge the child's lethal attack, Zabuza was hopping to the ground after his Kawirimi. This kid is no joke. What was that technique? Zabuza thought to himself. But the swishing sound of something approaching him snapped him out of his reverie. Shit! Exclaimed the big man, using his Zanbato to deflect a wakizashi that was aimed directly at his head. How did that kid know where I was? He exclaimed. After unleashing his wakizashi on Zabuza, Naruto quickly headed towards the bunchen that was imprisoning Kakashi. Using Flying Swallow, he launched his second attack, Koka-ryu, Dragon's Descent, shouting as he did so and unleashing a devastating downward slash that the defenseless bunchen could only block. As he reached the edge of the water, he made a large ki-enhanced jump. Nevertheless, the attack's strength and speed, together with the katana's increased ki, caused the bunchen's weak defense to literally split in half, allowing Kakashi to escape intact. But as soon as he hit the water, he started to sink, but one of Kakashi's bunchen kept him from sinking. Zabuza discovered the boy's scheme too late, and Kakashi was already released from prison. Shit. The little punk tricked me. Naruto said, I told you Zabuza-san that I don't make idle statements, as the big man emerged from the bushes. Zabuza realized that the boy had actually said what he had said. He had seriously underestimated the boy, and now he had to deal with Kakashi once more. He had to stop joking around because things were becoming serious. There was nothing ordinary about Kakashi and his group of Genin. Since Haku hadn't returned yet, it was evident that she was also struggling. The pig, who is fat and greedy, will pay me twice as much for all the trouble I cause. Brat, you are not going anywhere. This is where you are going to die, right now. No more Mr. Nice Demon, Zabuza exclaimed, emerging from the lake and making his hand gestures. With a deadly tone, Kakashi declared, I'm going to pay you back for what you did to Naruto. Already, Kakashi was imitating his hand gestures. Get behind me, Naruto. To his clone, and the clone carried out his instructions. As the two enormous water dragons neutralized each other, they both spoke at once, Suiryuden no Jutsu. Arrrrr, Zabuza snarled, gathering a lot of chakra and beginning another series of hand signals. Naruto noticed that Kakashi was precisely mimicking Zabuza's movements. Naruto thought, so this is the power of the Sharingan. Zabuza was starting to feel uneasy because Kakashi was imitating his every move, and he was even starting to hear faint suggestions for jutsu in his head. He was about to use his strongest jutsu for the fight when he thought, what's happening to me? But before he could release the jutsu, he heard Kakashi say. Fortunately, Sakura and Tazuna were a very safe distance away as the copy ninja unleashed a massive blast of water that washed Zabuza all the way back to shoreline, destroying everything in its path. Sweden. Daibakufu no Jutsu. Zabuza felt a kunai close to his throat as he was smashed into a big tree. Hey! How could you have used my own jutsu both before and against me? With the same lethal tone as before, Kakashi declared, I can see the future. No one can see the future. When you attacked my team, especially Naruto, I saw your future. Death is what lies ahead for you, with a serious tone, Kakashi uttered. Well, I lost a fight with a formidable foe. Thank you, Wakamusha and Kakashi-san. We will complete our little sword dance in the afterlife. With a final bow of respect, Naruto said to Zabuza-san, "I look forward to it, Zabuza-san. I will come look you up." He audibly said, "Goodbye, Haku," just before Kakashi cut his throat. Hitaki Kakashi killed Momochi Zabuza, a high school student who was missing since that day. With Sasuke and Haku, they exchanged a furious taijutsu move as Suko blocked Sasuke's charge into Haku. The two boys in front of her were starting to really irritate Haku. The one in the back wasn't even close to being a great shinobi, and if it weren't for the annoying Uchiha in front of her and his damned eyes, she could have killed him in the blink of an eye. "Uchiha, it's time to stop this little game," she said, gesturing with her hands. Shocked, Sasuke asked himself, "Why can't I duplicate the technique?" A dome of ice mirrors encircled both Haku and Sasuke as they whispered, "Hayatan Hajutsu. Makio Hyosho, demonic ice mirrors." She started to shower the boy with needles from every angle as she scurried from mirror to mirror, saying, "After I finish you off, I will kill that pest of yours and then I will return to Zabuza-sama to finish the job we got." When the hail of ice needles ended, Sasuke had needles in several places throughout his body because he was effectively dodging and deflecting the majority of the needles that were aimed at him. "Sasuke!" Suko, feeling completely defenseless, yelled from outside the prison. "I've figured out how to beat that pesky Sharingan of yours." "Oh my goodness," declared Sasuke. "It's true that the worst person you could meet Face.to. Face is a Sharingan user. Nonetheless, a Sharingan user can be vanquished in the face of numerous adversaries and covert attacks from the sides and rear. To demonstrate my point, Haku proceeded to leap from mirror to mirror while donning yet another set of ice needles. Once more, as Haku completed her onslaught, Sasuke was covered in ice needles. "Are you seeing now? Your Sharingan is a powerful weapon, but it is not unbeatable." Kaden. Gukakyu no Jutsu, at the ice mirror Haku was in. Sasuke was in a real bind because he had just received his Sharingan and this shinobi had already discovered a weakness in it. "This is a really tough battle, I need to find a way out of this ice prison." The mirror started to melt, then it reformed. Haku boastfully remarked, "Such a weak jutsu is useless against my ice mirrors." Feeling the fading chakra signature of Zabuza, her pride turned to worry. Searching for a way out of his situation, Sasuke thought to himself, he can jump from mirror to mirror and fire jutsu of a certain level won't work. Haku launched another assault with a flurry of icy needles that were drawing nearer to his sensitive spots. Sasuke thought to himself, "I have no choice, I have to get it or I will die and I cannot die until I have my revenge." The idea of losing his life before exacting his retribution made his blood boil. "If I engulf the dome in fire I should be able to flush him out or even damage him. He can't hide in every mirror at once and would be forced to take the attack head on." "Nah." While performing the necessary hand seals, he exclaimed loudly, "I cannot die until vengeance is mine." And, "Kaden. Karyu Enden." The massive flame in the shape of a dragon erupted from the boy's mouth, driven by his fury and burning desire for vengeance. Haku thought, "No, this can't be. Using such a large jutsu in such a confined area is suicide." The whole of the prison was on fire. The flame's heat was trapped in a small area and could not escape, which increased its power. Haku was trapped in Sasuke's flames of rage, and there was no way out for her as the entire dome melted. Suko observed in shock and terror. When Sakura and Tazuna felt the powerful chakra explosion and Kakashi realized that Naruto was approaching them while traveling to assist his allies, they lay there together. All that was left was a severely burned Haku, with most of her kimono burned and her feminine features clearly visible, after the entire dome melted. With his eyes filled with rage, Sasuke, who was heaving and struggling to stand, gazed at her. The boy was not burned by the flames, instead, they danced around him, seemingly aware that he was their master. Haku's body was in excruciating pain and she was immobile. She was only spared the worst of the attack because she was able to utilize some of her ice to create a last-minute shield around her body. As the ice melted and turned to steam, she received additional burns, but she was barely able to avoid dying. She felt the chakra signature of Zabuza fade away as she lay on the ground and inhaled deeply. "Zabuza. Sama is dead, he is dead, I don't need to continue fighting." She rose slowly to her knees and turned to face her opponent. "You have won, Uchiha. Victory is yours. My master is dead and I have no reason to fight or to live. Take my life and send me to meet my master, it would be my honor." By now, Sasuke had stood up and was walking in her direction, his rage gradually fading as he approached her. Now, he asked the fallen shinobi to end his life as he stood in front of him. Then it dawned on him that it was a girl, asking himself, I was fighting a girl this entire time? She posed a serious threat. He said gravely, you want me to take your life? Yes, I have nothing more to live for. I have lost everything precious to me. She's just like me, he thought, his eyes widening. She lives alone in a world that has completely vanished. He would be exactly like her if he didn't get his revenge. I can never be like her. I will not let go of my vengeance, it is all I have. You're just like me, alone in this cursed world with your loved ones on the other side. However, that is where our similarities end. The one you sought to protect is dead and thus you no longer have a purpose, a reason to live. My purpose is vengeance and my reason to live is to gain power. I will send you to meet your master, you're better off there. I pity you Uchiha, you're living a fate worse than death. Vengeance is the doorway to darkness and suffering. It will make you weak, not strong. Sasuke said, a weakling like you cannot lecture me about strength, as he stabbed Haku in the heart with the kunai. Naruto was able to see Sasuke deliver the fatal blow just in time. The same evil energy seemed to be coming from the Uchiha in greater force, and he could feel it. I must convey this to Kakashi-san. Reaching up to the two, he said, Sasuke, Tsuko, you guys okay? Tsuko answered, yes, Naruto, we're fine, it's over. Naruto said gravely, no Tsuko, I'm afraid that it has only just begun. At last, the group arrived at Tazuna's residence. After his battle with Zabuza, Kakashi collapsed from chakra exhaustion, so Naruto had to carry him. Despite their fierce battle with Haku leaving Tsuko and Sasuke covered in cuts and bruises, they were both fine overall. Sakura was not a part of any battle, so he was completely unharmed. They were worn out and battered, but they were still alive, and that was a victory in and of itself. At a different place, furious, Gato was seated at his big desk surrounded by his chief financial advisor, two goons, and himself. Why? Considering that Tazuna, the bridge builder, was still alive, well, protected, and undamaged. Since he was going to kill Zabuza and Haku anyhow, it didn't really bother him that they were gone. What truly worried him were the rumors that Hitaki Kakashi, a well-known Konoha Jonin, had killed Haku and Zabuza with his bothersome genin. Lastly, he learned that there was a highly skilled samurai on the genin team. Gato exclaimed, how was the old fart able to procure such capable aid from Konoha? Konoha must have really strong ninja to send a genin team on such a high-level mission. At this rate the bridge builder would be able to complete his bridge and my monopoly of the trade route would be broken. More importantly, my deal with that snake will be in jeopardy. I may have money but that man is dangerous. The short, fat man banged his fist on his desk in a fit of rage. The short, fat man went on a rant, saying, I will wipe them out, all of them. I'll crush them. That Tazuna, Kakashi, his genin, and that little samurai. But sir, such an undertaking would mean a significant financial investment on your part. Rensa, his chief financial advisor, cut short his master's tirade. I know Rensa, but the gains would far outstrip our expenditure. When I take control of this country I will monopolize the sea trade to the mainland and I will easily make 100 times what I am going to spend. Always remember Rensa that you need to spend money to make money. Rensa answered his master's response with a, yes, sir. Gato drummed his fingers on his desk and thought, now who do I hire to get rid of this troublesome group? As he readied himself to carry out his evil scheme, the shipping magnate exclaimed, ah, I know just who to hire for the job. At the top of the Hokage Tower, while Sarutobi was occupied with paperwork, Pakun, Kakashi's preferred summon, appeared. The dog traveled 5 days to get to Konoha. The dog said gravely, Sandame, Sama, I have an urgent message from Kakashi-kun. What is it? The Sandame asked in a Hokage-like manner right away. Kakashi's team encountered the Demon Brothers of the Mist on their mission to Wave. He has requested support for an A-ranked mission due to their appearance. In the shinobi world, mission rankings raising in the field was not unheard of. Clients would frequently tell lies about the true nature of the mission, leading to the incorrect classification of missions. This was particularly prevalent among low-income clients. The typical C-class mission significantly depleted the impoverished client's funds. At other times, a team might run into enemy nin or rouge nin from a hostile nation. That being said, it was always extremely concerning to see a rookie genin team's mission ranking rise to such an extreme degree. What followed was Sarutobi's question, why did he not recall the team? Naruto went against Kakashi's order to retreat, he refused to let the bridge builder die, the dog replied. There was a deep sigh from the Sandame. Naruto, Naruto, Naruto. Just like your father, acting despite the dangers involved. My forces are stretched thin right now, so I can't spare another team right away without compromising the safety of the village. Tell Kakashi that his team needs to hold out until reinforcements arrive. The dog said, "Yes, Sandame. Sama," as it walked out the window. In Tazuna's residence, Naruto woke up early since he had a lot on his mind, while everyone else was still asleep. The voice he could hear, the evil force guiding Sasuke in his conflict with Zabuza. Naruto-kun, you're getting distracted again. Once more, you are the voice. From me, what do you want? Did Mayushi-kun tell you anything before you left on the mission? Have you forgotten? It was Mayushi who said those words to the boy. If you open your heart to your sword, you can speak to it and ask for its help. Are you my swords? The boy questioned in a somewhat disbelieving tone. It said, I am and I am not. What sort of response was that? Naruto questioned cynically. That was the most appropriate response to the query, the voice said. Come to me. You've improved your listening skills. How can I accomplish that? You will find me when you close your eyes and open your heart. And that's exactly what Naruto did. He shut his eyes and let his heart open. Shortly after, he was in a little clearing with a massive mountain in front of him. The mountain was so big that it vanished into the clouds, and from the clouds he could sense a mystical energy that exuded strength and serenity. There was a dense forest to his back that made it seem as though not even light could penetrate. Where am I? Inquired the boy. You are on the footpath to finding out the truth about your swords and your destiny, the voice said. The truth about my swords and my destiny? A bewildered Naruto inquired. Yes. You have not begun to fully comprehend the true power of these swords or the truth of why you were chosen to wield them. Your heart is still in doubt and you are struggling to find your footing as a warrior. However, the time will come when metal will be split and flesh pierced. In that time, your heart and mind will be opened and they will lead you to me and the truth. Now completely perplexed, Naruto asked, what does all this mean? As Naruto was brought back to reality, the voice said, it means that you have to continue on your path until we meet again. Right now you have much work to do. As usual, Tsuko exclaimed, hey Naruto, and asked, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Just thinking about some stuff, that's all. How's Sasuke? Well, he hasn't spoken a word since the battle. He's keeping to himself even more than before, Tsuko replied. Before asking Tsuko more questions, Naruto appeared to be deep in thought for a considerable amount of time. How are you and Sakura? I'm good. I'm just glad everyone made it here safely. Kakashi. Sensei is suffering from chakra exhaustion and should be up in a day or two, and Sakura is fine as well, a bit down, but fine. I'm glad to hear that, Naruto answered. For the time being, everyone was safe, but things would worsen before they got better. Are you able to move freely? Tsuko nodded affirmatively at him. All right, let's go get Sasuke and Sakura so we can set up a patrol around the house to make sure nobody ambushes us. Sugo, go get them, and we'll decide after breakfast what we'll do until Kakashi-san gets back to normal. Tsuko replied, okay, I'm on it, and he went to get Sakura and Sasuke. Later on in the morning, although everyone was still talking about the events of the previous week, Tsunami, Tazuna's daughter, was busy preparing breakfast for everyone. Later, the four of them decided on a rotation for their patrols around the area. Tsuko and Sasuke would form one team, while Sakura and Naruto would form another. Surprisingly, Sakura did not object to being paired with Naruto because she knew what would happen if she complained, and she also wanted to finish this mission and prove her value to the team. Inari voiced his strong opinions while Naruto and Team 7 were getting ready for the day's work. Everything is hopeless. Gato is too strong for you to defeat. You should give up and flee, the boy said in a startled, furious outburst that caught everyone off guard. Look what has happened. My father gave his life to save this village. My father died in vain, and Gato is still terrorizing us here. You will all perish in vain as well, for Gato is unconquerable. Without missing a beat, Naruto turned to face the boy and uttered, you are the worst kind of coward, submitting to the oppression of another. See if your life changes if you go to your room and cry like a baby. Sakura started to say, Naruto don't s, but was cut off by Naruto's piercing gaze. Sakura was well aware that she should keep her mouth shut when Naruto gave her that look. You view this situation with fear and anger, but I will tell you what my master told me, Naruto said, turning to face the now shocked Inari. He once said it's preferable to pass away standing up than to remain on your knees. Your father was aware of this and fought until the end for you and what he believed in. You live on your knees, sneering at how awful and cruel the world is while you do this. You bring dishonor to your father's memory. a man of immense bravery and strength who gave his all in the face of defeat. However, what's the deal? It's time for you to win your battle now that he has won his? The boy's words surprised Inari. They stung, but he could not hurt back. They were harsh, but he could not get the rising feeling of courage that crept into his heart at that moment. Unable to respond, Inari was left with no choice but to run back to his room and cry, thinking about Naruto's words while feeling a glimmer of hope through his tears. Naruto, did you really have to be this mean? After the child had left the room, Tsuko asked his friend. It seemed like Sasuke didn't care as long as he got opportunities to improve his skill, and Sakura knew better than to just go up against Naruto with her rude or fangirlish tendencies. It seemed like Tsuko was the only one of the genin trio who would openly talk to, or question, Naruto. Indeed. Cowards die first in life and in battle, and worse, their cowardice spreads like a contagious disease to everyone in their presence, Naruto retorted. During one of our training sessions, my master informed me of this. Additionally, he informed me that cowardice is one of the things in this life that is worse than death. Tsuko could only nod in agreement with Naruto, thinking, there's no arguing there. Naruto's comments caused Sasuke to only HN. Hey guys, let's get going, we have a job to do, Naruto said. Naruto and Sakura would conduct the second patrol after Sasuke and Tsuko made the decision to conduct the first one. Sakura was having a conversation with Tsunami in the kitchen while Sasuke and Tsuko were on patrol, and Naruto used this as an opportunity to talk to Kakashi about what he had noticed about Sasuke. With Kakashi inside his chamber, since Tsunami had insisted that he take extra rest after putting in so much effort in the battle with Zabuza, Kakashi did not eat breakfast with everyone. Instead, she brought breakfast to his room, saving him from having to leave. After breakfast, Kakashi lay on his mat when he felt someone approaching his room and said, "You can come in, Naruto." Following instructions, Naruto went into the room and sat down next to the unconscious Kakashi. Kakashi-san, there is something I need to speak to you about concerning Sasuke. Okay, fire away, said the Jonin, who was aware of what was about to be revealed but chose to just listen. I've noticed that Sasuke is harboring a profound darkness, and it seems to be intensifying daily. It was particularly potent following his fight with Haku, as something between them worsened the situation. I worry that it might take control of him and lead to him harming a great deal of people. I know, and I will undoubtedly need to have a serious conversation with him about it. His hunger for vengeance against his brother Itachi for the massacre of the Uchiha clan consumes him. Those who desire revenge cannot be trusted and will eventually betray their comrades, Naruto said to Kakashi before closing the door behind him. Naruto just nodded in assent and was leaving. He was aware of the information that had been documented about the massacre of the Uchiha clan. Those are my master's words, Kakashi-san, he said before shutting the door and leaving Kakashi to consider his parting remarks. The next morning arrived quickly, with everyone packed and ready to go. Kakashi had already led his genin outside to demonstrate the tree walking exercise. Naruto's words remained ingrained in his mind, but for the time being he had to concentrate on saving his team from certain death. Naruto wasn't with them because he had his own training schedule and it was fundamentally different from theirs, so it actually didn't make sense for him to train with them. The three genin were busy practicing the tree walking exercise. Kakashi had been unusually demanding of them that morning and they were really trying hard. Alongside the Kakashi team, oh no, of the three genin, he made the least amount of progress. Sakura was nearly 3/4 of the way up the tree. Sasuke was halfway up, and he was only 8 feet above the ground. Tsuko cried out as he fell to the ground yet another time. He took a deep breath, got back up, if unsteadily, and got ready to try again, but before he could launch his latest endeavor, his sensei intervened. Ma Tsuko, I've been working hard on all of you since the morning, so let's take a break. Although Sakura and Sasuke were appreciative of the brief respite, Tsuko wasn't happy. Go on without me, Kakashi. Sensei, I still haven't gotten it down as yet. Sakura, Sasuke, and Kakashi were all taken aback by Tsuko's demeanor. Ordinarily, he would have been grateful for the break, but now things were different. They all wondered what has gotten into him. Oh, that must have been that evening at the camp, Kakashi mused to himself. Naruto's words had a significant effect on him. Tsuko stood in front of the tree once more. Whenever he fell, experienced the agony of failing, or thought he could not go any farther, the words Naruto had said at the campfire echoed in his ears. You, my friend, are the most capable person there is. Tsuko thought to himself, I must see what he sees, I can't give up now. He has faith in me and my abilities, and he sees something in me that I'm not seeing myself. Inadvertently, Tsuko started channeling chakra through his body, making it slightly visible to everyone in the room. My goodness! He's channeling chakra to the point of visibility in such a state of exhaustion. What have you unearthed, Naruto? Kakashi exclaimed, his eyes widening with surprise. Hey, sensei. When Tsuko has been working hard all day, how is it possible for him to create so much chakra? Sakura inquired, startled and perplexed. That was all Kakashi said. Naruto's words, Sakura, Naruto's words. Without turning to face the group, Tsuko said, you all can go on without me. I'll be fine. His eyes were fixed firmly on the tree as he launched himself towards it. In one attempt, he made it almost halfway up the tree before losing his footing and falling to the ground. This time, he landed on his feet. The others, silently, watched in amazement and surprise at Tsuko's resolve. The filthy boy released his clenched fist and relaxed, then he ran at the tree again, reaching more than 3/4 of the way up before losing his balance. Sasuke lost all sense of fatigue and developed a slight smirk on his face as he realized he had been overtaken and could no longer rest. You can continue without me too, Kakashi. Sensei, I'm no longer tired. Sakura reaffirmed her resolve to perform better, saying, yeah Kakashi. Sensei, you go on without us, we'll be okay. Ah. It was all Kakashi could do. I suppose I'll stick around with you all. And so he did, staying with his committed students as they exerted themselves to become stronger. Copy Ninja Kakashi. With Naruto. Though his training was very different from theirs, so it made no sense to stick with them, Naruto did not train with Team 7 because his mind was troubled and he needed some peace to regain himself before the impending battle. He lay in the grass in the middle of a small clearing in the nearby woods, his eyes closed, remembering his master's advice to close them when something is too difficult to see. His thoughts started to wander. Why me? Why all of this? All I wanted was some peace of mind, the person exclaimed. He posed that query to no one in particular, and his sword responded. The voice said, and that's why you have been chosen, Naruto-kun. You seek peace, but you still do not realize the enormity of your choice or the larger picture that is being woven. I've come to this point because I want peace of mind, the inquisitive boy questioned. Yes, all of your choices have brought you to this point, including your desire for mental peace. Do you believe that finding these swords or Mayushi-kun was a coincidence? The boy had a contemplative expression on his face, and the more he considered his life experiences, the more he realized how things had turned out. He couldn't quite put his mind on why it all seemed to fit together: his decision to become a samurai, his failure on the genin exam, meeting Mayushi, etc. I guess not, he answered. The voice said, what you need to learn is the truth about peace. With a tone of confusion, Naruto inquired, the truth about peace? Yes, you need to know the secret to peace in order to completely understand why you were selected to wield these swords. A secret to peace? Surprised Naruto. But why me? Why such a burden? All of this is so far-fetched that it doesn't seem real. In this world there are numerous wonderful and dreadful things that defy all logic and reason, and you will go mad in questioning their existence. You still have much to learn about the way of the warrior, you still have far to go. How would you know? You're just a voice in my head. A voice I may be, but you do not know who I am. It would do you well not to judge a person before you meet them, the voice replied. Naruto yelled, so then show yourself to me. You're not ready. Your heart is not yet set on the path, there is still much struggle, you cannot see me as you are now, the voice replied. But I will tell you this. Life is always a trial. It matters not whether you are a warrior, a shinobi, a saint, a daimyo, a cage, or a pheasant. You must polish yourself in order to face the great challenges of life. In order to polish yourself, you must train and reflect every time you live to see another day. You must reflect upon every battle that you survive. The challenges of life are numerous and not isolated to the battlefield. Learn from your mistakes as well as from your triumphs. Fix what you have done wrong and perfect the things that you do well. In this way you will be able to calmly face any challenge that life throws your way. Naruto was deeply struck by the voice's words and had a lot on his mind. When your heart is clear, you will find your way to me and your truth. Go now and contemplate on what I have told you. We will meet again, I guarantee it. As he turned back to face the outside world, Naruto simply nodded his head. After 2 days, everyone had recovered completely and was prepared to resume their mission. Since they had no idea when or where the attack would occur, everyone in the group was constantly on alert. Given that Tazuna would be an open target, Kakashi surmised that the attack would probably take place on the bridge. Here at the bridge, with only a week left to complete their work, Tazuna and his men were hard at work on the bridge. While Kakashi was reading his beloved Icha Icha on the bridge's edge, Naruto and Tsuko were idly chatting. Sakura was with Sasuke, but she wasn't pressuring him for a date or anything. She was just carrying out her duty. Naruto was talking to Kakashi instead of Tsuko, and everything was going well. In addition to sensing the approaching danger, Kakashi recognized that look, and Sasuke wasn't far behind in figuring that things would become extremely tense in a short while. The Jonin said gravely, "Tazuna, you and your men get over here now." The group was greeted shortly after by 5 men who were all missing nins, as the men promptly obeyed the Jonin's orders. Naruto had anticipated that Kakashi would not be overly impressed by the men standing in front of him. 5 missing nins. Juzo Images and Yonzo Kuzuchu, also known as Duhu no Iwa, are brothers from Hidden Rock Village who are both A-class missing nins. Kursuke Raiga from Hidden Mist, along with his companion Renmara and an unidentified missing ninja. What's the deal with the missing Niners and Team 7? Kakashi pondered. The Hokage advised him to hold out until he received reinforcements, and that is precisely what they were going to do. "Don't you think this is overkill, gentlemen?" the Jonin asked, attempting to buy as much time as possible with his typical monotone. "We're not here for those brats or the bridge builder. We're here for revenge against the White Fang of Konoha. You see, your father killed our father in the Second Great Shinobi War. Intimidated into submission, Iwa did nothing to gain revenge for its loss to Konoha, so we fled the village to get our own revenge. Finally, all those years of searching have paid off. Today you're gonna die, copy ninja." Fantastic. Naruto's prediction came true. I have 2 A-class Iwa nins chasing me. When Yonzo motioned for Juzo to look closely at Naruto, the man gave a start and his eyes became hardened. Kakashi was aware of the glances they gave Naruto, thinking that they saw similarities between him and the Yondaime. "We'll deal with that later, let's get our revenge first," Juzo replied. Yonzo simply gave a nod of his head in agreement. Kakashi looked at the other 3 men and said, "Okay now, 2 down, 3 to go. I was hired to take care of some troublesome brats. One I hear is pretty decent with the sword and the other Uchiha," said Raiga. "Well, guys, that means Mr. Unknown Nuke.Nin must be chasing the bridge builder," Kakashi exclaimed to his subordinates. "It seems that we have no choice but to fight. Our opponents have already been chosen for us. Tsuko and Sakura, you both have to take care of Tazuna, which means you have to face the unknown Nin. Be extra careful." The 2 gave a nod of agreement, their expressions determined. "Sasuke and Naruto, you know what to do." Both boys gave a nod of agreement. "Tazuna, Tsuko and Sakura will be protecting you. Stay out of harm's way and escape if you can. Don't worry about them, they can take care of themselves, they are strong." Sakura and Tsuko experienced an additional surge in self-assurance and resolve upon their sensei recognizing their abilities. "Alright guys, don't die," they all exclaimed. "Hi!" at the same time, and then they all started walking in different directions, each being pursued by a different person. A week before that, as Team Guy approached Konoha's gates, they were all eager for some well-earned relaxation after their arduous mission. Tenten remarked, "I miss my parents and I can't wait to get home." Lee remarked, "I miss home and training." Neji remained silent, but he was happy to be back home and get some rest. But it was not to be, for a lone Anbu intervened to stop them. "Team Guy, you are to head to the Hokage's office immediately." "Hi!" they all exclaimed at once. The Jonin would typically provide the report while his subordinates carried out their daily tasks. The Hokage's summoning of the entire team indicates a significant event. After traveling for approximately 10 minutes, Team Guy finally arrived at the Hokage Tower and saw the solemn-looking Sandaime. Guy could tell the situation was dire by the look on the Sandaime's face. Sarutobi didn't even give them his customary greeting before delving into specifics. "Team 10, I'm sending you on an A-ranked back-up mission." "A ranked?" Guy questioned in a grave manner. "Those are reserved for Jonin and Anbu, not Genin squads." "I'm well aware of that, Guy.San, but your squad is the only one that can be spared at this moment." With great seriousness, Guy inquired, "What's the situation, Hokage-sama?" Team Kakashi's C-ranked mission has turned ugly. They've encountered and defeated 4 missing nins, including Momochi Zabuza, the Demon Brothers, and 1 unknown missing nin. Tenten exclaimed, 4 missing nins, with alarm. Yes, Naruto and Sasuke took care of the Demon Brothers. Then they were accosted by Zabuza, and his subordinate Kakashi killed Zabuza after Naruto saved him from one of Zabuza's techniques. Sasuke and Tsuko took care of the other one. Team 7 is powerful. Neji contemplated. Why didn't Kakashi.San abort the mission due to the involvement of missing nins? His hand was forced when Naruto refused to let the client die. Lee exclaimed, Naruto's flames truly burn bright. Hopefully, his adversaries haven't soaked it, Sandaime uttered in a grave manner. Team Guy, your mission is this. You are to back up and ensure that Team 7 makes it back to Konoha safe. You have 1 hour to prepare, now go. They all exclaimed, Hi, Hokage. Sama, as they prepared for a mission that would cause a stir among the shinobi nations on a global scale. Naruto.kun. This time, the consequences of your actions won't be pleasant, Sarutobi pondered. Since Team 7 set out on its mission to wave more than a week ago, word of the drama was finding its way throughout Konoha and the Land of Fire. The news had the entire village buzzing, and many were worried about Team 7. Many were even praying for their safe return. An emergency council meeting was required due to the widespread dissemination of information about the mission. During the council meeting, ask Yamanaka Inoichi, the head of the Yamanaka clan, Sarutobi. Sama, what's the status of Team 7's mission to wave? Rumors of Team 7 encountering and defeating 4 missing nins are rife throughout the village. Yes, the rumors are true, Inoichi.san. Team 7 did encounter and defeat the Demon Brothers of Mist, as well as Momochi Zabuza and an unknown missing nin. Are you sure, Sandaime? Sama, I don't mean to question your information, but we're talking about 2 C-class missing nins, and A-class missing nin and at least a B-class accomplice. Zabuza is not a man known to appreciate weakness, asked Nara Shikaku, head of the Nara clan. No offense taken, Nara.san, but the information is correct. Sasuke and Naruto took care of the Demon Brothers, while Kakashi killed Zabuza after being freed by Naruto, and finally Sasuke and Tsuko were able to defeat the unknown missing nin. With surprise, Inuzuka Sume exclaimed, Naruto saved Kakashi. Yes. Kakashi was caught in one of Zabuza's technique and Naruto stood toe-to-toe with Zabuza until he was able to free Kakashi. The head of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Hiyashi, remarked, Team 7 is strong. Yes, they most definitely are, the Sandaime answered. A barely noticeable smile crossed Danzo's face. I would make Konoha unbeatable if I could just get my hands on the Uchiha and the vessel. How did the mission come to this stage, Sandaime? Sama, isn't it standard protocol that if a Jonin with a Genin team encounters missing nins of a certain rank that the mission must be aborted? Asked Aburame Shibi, head of the Aburame clan. Sarutobi knew that the Aburame or the Nara would pose that question, so he was dreading it. Getting away from it is impossible. Kakashi's hand was forced when Naruto refused to leave the client. The boy cited that if they left the client he would most assuredly die and he could not allow that. One of the 2 senior advisors and a longtime teammate of the Hokage, Kaharu, exclaimed, he disobeyed a direct order from his commanding officer. That is a serious offense. Yes, it is, and I will deal with it accordingly should the team make it back safely. Right now the team's safety is my primary concern. Head of the Akamichi clan Akamichi Shuza asked, yes, the team's safe return is of utmost importance. Any latest status reports on the situation, Sandaime? Sama. From the latest report that Kakashi sent, he is currently preparing the team to face their next hurdle while they protect the bridge builder. I have sent Team Guy as reinforcements for Team 7. The leader of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Hiyashi, questioned, why not a Jonin or Anbu team? Our forces are operating at maximum capacity right now and I could not spare such a team at the expense of village security. To the complete surprise of the council, Hiyashi said, if you wish, I could render the services of my personal guards to aid in the reinforcements. The suggestion from the head of the Hyuga clan stunned the normally composed Sandaime. You are most generous and I am very pleased at your support and concern about the village's shinobi, but I believe that Team 7 is more than capable of handling the situation. In fact, I believe that Team Guy might just have a clean-up job to do rather than reinforcements. What is it that you have planned, Hiyashi? Why are you doing this? The Sandaime pondered in his mind. What is reason behind your confidence in such a dire situation? We are well aware that Kakashi is the village's top Jonin, but it might be too much for him alone to accomplish, Shibi stated. One word, Shibi.san. Naruto. Sume questioned, perplexed. The boy is more than capable of handling his own in situations and is very knowledgeable in tactics and strategy, as could be seen with his uncovering of Orochimaru's plot and Mizuki's capture. Furthermore, I went to visit Naruto's sensei last night about the situation and the man had not the slightest concern for his students' well-being. Yes, from the very beginning, I have been aware of all aspects of Naruto's training through my Anbu reports, my personal observations, and Naruto's sensei. The evening before the council meeting, Mayushi was reading and drinking tea on his favorite stool when he sensed Sarutobi's presence. Hello Sandame. Dono, I know you're worried about the team and Naruto, but they'll be fine. How were you aware that I was going to discuss that? Simple Sarutobi. The rumors going around the village and your close relationship to Naruto, so of course you'll be worried about him. And you're not? Sarutobi questioned, his temper slowly starting to flare at the other man's lack of concern for the circumstances. No, not at all, and there are 3 reasons for that, Mayushi answered with absolute assurance. 1. He learned to be composed in perilous circumstances from his time spent in the forest. 2. Nitojutsu and strategy are built on handling these kinds of situations. And 3. He possesses a true talent with a sword, one that is reserved for members of warrior clans. When these 3 things come together, it becomes nearly impossible for him to lose in a situation like this. In fact, he thrives in these kinds of circumstances. The riskier the scenario, the more at ease he is. Don't worry, Sandame. He will not stand by and watch as his friends perish needlessly, and he will not perish needlessly either. Furthermore, Copy Ninja Kakashi is also with him. As a teacher who was completely confident in his students' abilities, Mayushi said. Has Naruto failed to demonstrate twice that he is able to handle extremely difficult situations? Sandame was unable to dispute that Mayushi was right. I see, but know this: he will have to be punished for his insubordination. I cannot defend him against the council this time. He needs no defending Sarutobi, he can stand on his own and face whatever challenges that come his way. As he disappeared from view, Sandame remarked, We'll see Mayushi-san, we'll see, warrior's blood? Close the flashback. You mean business, Sandame. Sama. What kind of sensei is he that he doesn't worry about his student? Inoichi questioned incredulously. I think this is a particularly good one. He even claimed that Naruto was prepared for these kinds of circumstances, and I tend to believe him. Hey, very interesting. In fact, it's becoming to be quite an interesting situation, Danzo stated. It was extremely difficult for any member of the council to disagree with the War Hawk, even with the risk involved. The shinobi population, particularly the Konoha genin, was significantly impacted by the events occurring in Wave. Kiba was incensed that Team 7 had been given such a great mission, and Team 8 had just returned from their maiden C-rank mission, which had taken them just outside the village. Dude. The whole village is talking about Team 7's mission to Wave, and we get this dumb C-rank right outside the village. Shino had to warn him, though, about the seriousness of the situation that Team 7 was facing. Recall that Team 7 came across missing nins, and highly ranked ones at that, Kiba-san. From there, things could only get worse. How Shino, they're getting all the attention, I mean, Kiba moaned. Given that they came across missing nins, Kakashi Sensei had a legal obligation to go back home. But since he didn't, something or someone, most likely Naruto, forced him to carry out the mission. Do you really think the mission will get easier after you've encountered ninjas like Zabuza once? Do you really believe that the current predicament that Team 7 and Naruto-san are in is enjoyable? Kiba ran out of things to say, and when he looked at the situation more closely, he felt a little embarrassed. Shino went on. You should also watch the things you say, Kiba. You did not take into account Hinata's feelings about the situation as well. Kiba only needed to glance at the girl to realize that she was concerned about Naruto. I apologize, Hinata. It's not a problem, Kiba. Though I'm concerned, I know that Team 7 and Naruto will return safely. Naruto is powerful, he will return, the girl reiterated. The circumstances for Team 10 were somewhat different. Asuma and his group had just returned to the village when they heard all of the hullabaloo surrounding Team 7. He left his genin behind and went to inform the Hokage of his mission as well as to inquire about Team 7's mission. Ah. This is extremely problematic. I hope they return half alive, because if they don't, I won't have anyone to beat at shogi but Asuma. Sensei, Shikamaru said. Hikamaru. You're not able to take things seriously? Ino yelled, clearly worried about Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke, though she wouldn't acknowledge Ida, though she was more concerned about Naruto than Sasuke. Ma, unruly woman, they will return safely. Shika. How are you aware of that? Shogi inquired of his close friend. Naruto and Kakashi. Sensei are both on Team 7. One of our favorite jonin is Kakashi. Sensei, and Naruto is just Naruto. He's far too obstinate to go down. Furthermore, do you not notice how he plays shogi? No, I usually nod off when you and Naruto play games together. They take forever, Shoji uttered. Exactly. The reason games between me and Naruto take so long is that, Just when I think I have him figured out, the punk always manages to get back up and do the same. Shogi is a strategy and warfare-based game, did you know that? No, Ino candidly answered. It is what it is, and if he can't even give up in a game, imagine how much worse things would get in real life. Naruto is not going to die just yet, he is coming back. After Shikamaru's explanation, Ino felt a little more comfortable. Naruto and Team 7 together, standing before the two renegade Iwajanin, ready for battle. Kakashi was marked in their bingo book as an A-class ninja who was on the verge of becoming an S-class ninja, meaning that he was extremely dangerous. Juzo nodded, acknowledging that after years of collaboration, they would not need to speak to one another in order to communicate. Doden. Doryu Seihan, flying earth debris, was Yonzo's battle cry as he finished the chain of hand seals, causing mounds of earth to rise into the air and fly toward Kakashi. Kakashi chose to avoid the projectiles rather than waste energy, and as the final one passed him, he found himself on the defensive due to Juzo's taijutsu. As the two engaged in intense hand-to hand fighting, Yonzo used the opportunity to move behind Kakashi. Doden. Rising Earth Spears, Doryuso no Jutsu. As big spikes pierced Kakashi and Juzo from both sides, turning Kakashi into water and Juzo into mud, he uttered those words. Then, he chuckled to himself, not at all surprising. As he was finishing his sentence, a kunai sank into his back, and Yonzo turned to mud as well. Yes, Kakashi said from behind, not surprising at all. Kakashi reappeared in front of Juzo and Yonzo. Round 1, stalemate, Juzo said, time for round 2 AA. Alongside Naruto and Raiga. Alright, so, Gato wanted to get rid of the little samurai brat that you are. You seem familiar with the renowned Nitojutsu sword technique. Who gave you the style instruction? It's actually supposed to be extinct, the man stated. With his right foot forward and knee slightly bent, Hagashi Seishin was held in a reverse grip horizontally just below eye level, blade forward, and pointing at Raiga's throat. Yawaraki Te was in his left hand behind his back, hidden from view. That's none of your concern, and besides, dead men have no use for sword styles, Naruto said, maintaining a defensive stance. Aha! As Raiga took his fighting stance, he said, I see that your master has taught you well. You have no holes in your defense. Big words from a little brat. You could truly present a challenge. Swords clashed as defense met offense and offense met defense. Naruto ducked, parried, and swung forward, moving smoothly forward with thrusts and stabs, completely surprising his opponent. The man rushed into him, and he said nothing in response. Raiga was taken aback by the boy's level of skill and thought, he is a really skilled swordsman. I have to take him seriously, as he defended against the boy's fast attack. Naruto took advantage of Raiga's momentary disorientation and used it as leverage to block the man's long sword with his katana and then thrust his wakizashi into his chest, causing Raiga to instantly transform into water, a Mizu Bunshin. After the last attack, Raiga was falling from the tree when the blonde launched another vicious attack on him. The boy's body relaxed and then regained strength as he pushed off the blonde's blade, and his left hand holding the katana gracefully slid outward into a horizontal position. When it became perpendicular with his body, the grip on his sword strengthened and the blade came gliding back towards Raiga's torso. His eyes widened, another opening, but how? His eyes widened. Their blades locked a deadly embrace. He's giving me no time to recover. He's no average swordsman. Raiga told himself, keeping focused this time as the initial shock that nearly cost him his life wearing off. Alongside Naruto. A flashback. Speaking, Sensei explained that the term, flowing water cut, describes what to do if you engage in combat with an opponent who is on the same skill level as you. Since attacking quickly will only lead to a standoff, you must use your long sword to cut as slowly as possible. To begin, you and your opponent will be searching for a weakness in each other's defense. When your opponent tries to push off your sword or rush back as to disengage it, you must first expand your entire body and mind. By moving your body first, followed by your sword, you will be able to strike powerfully and broadly with a movement that seems to reflect the natural flow of water. With continued practice, ease and confidence will be gained. Put an end to the flashback. As he performed the technique, Naruto whispered, Nitojutsu. Flowing waters cut. There was a low whizzing sound, followed by the sound of metal cutting flesh. A blade had met flesh for the second time. Alongside Sasuke and Renmara. As they engaged in combat in a tiny clearing within the forest, the two of you boys observed one another. As you are aware, this is my first encounter with a Sharingan user. I'm hoping it lives up to the hype. Then, that will be your final encounter with a Sharingan user, Sasuke responded. Let's see if you can live up to these lofty words, with joy, Renmara exclaimed. Kaden. Goyukaku no Jutsu is Sasuke's favorite opening move. He blasted a massive fireball at the boy in front of him without saying anything. Renmara started the hand seals for his own jutsu and performed a kawarimi to get himself out of danger. Renmara yelled, Raiden! Raitama! Lightning Sphere, as he launched a concentrated lightning ball towards the Uchiha, who struck back with a kawarimi of his own. When they realized that jutsu exchanges were pointless, the two boys charged at one another to practice taijutsu. With his sword, Renmara would have a clear advantage in close quarters against someone else, but against the Sharingan, that was a different story. Sasuke's eyes were able to see every move the boy made. Nothing escaped those eyes. Sasuke moved with ease and grace, dodging all of the boy's thrusts and slashes, and when he sensed a gap in the boy's guard, he delivered a swift and vicious taijutsu combo that left the boy stunned before he exploded into the water. Sensing danger, Sasuke turned to C4 lightning. Enhanced kunai coming his way, moving quickly to avoid the boy's attack. Those eyes are magnificent, grinned Renmara, pleased and self-assured. You live up to the Uchiha name. I believe I'm going to gouge out your eyes and kill you. I'll keep one and resell the other for a healthy profit on the underground market. Then, murder me. You won't murder me, I promise. You'll be no more than another pitiful shinobi who claimed to be a Uchiha. What an idiot you are. Returning to his taijutsu stance, Sasuke spoke. So, let's investigate, shall we? Renmara said as his sword was being covered in lightning chakra. He knew that the Uchiha had the advantage in close range because of his eyes, so he intended to make this fight into a long-range battle. Pointing his sword at Sasuke, he whispered. Raiden. Raryu no Jutsu. Lightning Dragon. Sasuke's eyes snapped open as a massive dragon shaped like lightning shot out of the sword in his direction. He dodged quickly, preventing the lightning dragon from striking him, and all that was left was a 10-foot crater spewing smoke. The electrical charge was so strong that Sasuke could feel the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. Was it fear? He couldn't tell, but all he knew was that he couldn't be hit by the lightning dragon. Uchiha, we're not done yet, Renmara said with a wicked grin on his face. You see, the user of my sword, Arashikumo, Stormcloud, can employ lightning-type jutsus without the need for hand seals. Sadly, Uchiha, but your suffering is not over yet. This sword is composed of a unique and extremely rare metal that can only be found in Kumo's high mountains. Because of this metal's exceptional ability to transmit lightning-type chakra, the user need not expend as much chakra as they would when using hand seals. Uchiha, you ought to understand what that implies for you. I'll prevail no matter what happens. That's what that means, Sasuke said in a defiant tone. Despite his defiance, Sasuke was aware of how difficult his situation was. A sword that can channel jutsus without hand signs and with less chakra is a formidable foe. Lol, Uchiha. I admire your spirit. Raryu no Jutsu was spoken by Renmara as he pointed his sword at Sasuke once more, and the massive lighting dragon struck Sasuke in the face once more. Kaden. Karyu Enden no Jutsu. Saw Sasuke choose to hold his ground rather than duck, and a massive fire element dragon shot out of his mouth. In a battle of the dragons, Raryu and Karyu faced off, thanks to Stormcloud's chakra. Reducing power, Renmara's Raryu was starting to prevail. Just because Sasuke could not maintain his jutsu for as long as Renmara could. With each step, the Raryu overtook Karyu and advanced towards Sasuke. Alongside Tsuko, Sakura, and the unidentified shinobi. Around Tazuna, Sakura and Tsuko assumed a defensive posture. They could not let Tazuna die, they could not fail, and they could not disappoint their teammates. They were determined and prepared to fight. With a confident voice, the man said, Come on brats, you know that you can't beat me. Give up the old man and I'll make your death less painful. Ha! As if we'll ever do that, Tsuko exclaimed with audacity and assurance. Sakura vowed to try her hardest and told the unidentified shinobi, We will not fail. Making two Tsuchi Bunshin, the man said, Ha ha ha, let's find out, shall we? Anticipating an easy kill, the two Bunshin charged headlong into the two young shinobi. How wrong they were, oh how wrong. They were Bunshin, yes, but they were also easy to kill. The deeply taken aback Rouge Ninja exclaimed, What? Sakura, Tsuko, and Tazuna were moving into the woods at the same time in an attempt to get him as far away from danger as they could. A flashback. Kakashi was recovering, and Naruto and Team 7 were sitting around talking about their strategy. Since Kakashi had a great chance to teach his students and Naruto some serious information, he took the lead in the discussion. The elite shinobi asked his charges, "Tell me what you all think of our current situation and the possible outcomes." Noticing that Naruto appeared to have something to say. "Naruto, do you mind sharing with us your thoughts on this matter?" Naruto was the center of attention as everyone turned to hear his words. "What do we know about Gato?" asked Naruto, giving a nod of agreement. When Naruto asked, Sasuke said, "We know that he is a powerful shipping magnate, a billionaire." "Good. Why do you think that he is so interested in this small poor nation?" Naruto asked again. Kakashi was starting to realize where the boy was heading. What thoughtfulness! Who's the sensei of this boy? He's thinking way below the surface. "I think maybe because it's the only true neutral nation near the Fire Country, and it has great potential for financial gain and loss. If the bridge is built, it would spell doom for his company as the people of Fire Country will no longer have to depend on him in order to trade their goods," Sakura said, piecing things together using her great academic knowledge. "Good, Sakura. Now what do you think his response would after hearing of the defeat of Zabuza? Do you think he would just let this go?" After Sasuke and Naruto's battle with the apprentice Zabuza, Tsuko answered, echoing Naruto's words, "No, so that's what you meant by, it's only just the beginning." The boy answered, "Yes, Tsuko, that is what I meant. Indeed. We have severely thwarted Zabuza's plans to dominate the sea trade on this side of the elemental nations by defeating him," Naruto declared. "He's going to use his enormous wealth to completely crush us and subjugate the people of Wave." "You're correct, Naruto. This has become a global incident," Kakashi said. "A global incident? How?" Tsuko questioned with sincere surprise. "You see, Tsuko, if Gato succeeds in his attempt to subdue Wave, Konoha will be forced to intervene militarily more. From now on, the nation will be seen as a possible danger to the Land of Fire and Konoha. Other countries might interpret our intervention as an attempt by our cage to expand our borders and take over the island. Such actions will not be well received by the other countries. Less wars have broken out recently," the Jonin retorted. "Kakashi. Sensei, we might be unable to handle this," Sakura uttered in a terrified voice. "Sakura, we can't just flee from danger. This was a great opportunity for me to further hone my skills in the heat of battle, and I couldn't let this one pass me by," Sasuke said in a firm tone. "Mr. Sakura, you're right to be serious. If we back down, Gato will cause suffering for the populace." Tsuko declared that he would do everything in his power to make sure that the people would not suffer any longer. "We are forced to fight because we are unable to retreat in any scenario. When we beat Zabuza, this turned into a global incident," Naruto remarked solemnly. He had the uneasy feeling that this was just one more of Orochimaru's many schemes. "Orochimaru, you bastard," he thought to himself. "Okay guys, calm down," declared Kakashi in a firm voice, going full Anbu. "We are in a very dangerous and delicate situation, and we have no idea of the numbers or potential enemies. They'll undoubtedly be more formidable than the ones we've previously faced." When Kakashi made his announcement, Sasuke couldn't help but grin. "I think we could get a good estimate of the enemies we are likely to face," Naruto interjected. "How?" Sasuke uttered. "Well, Gato will be aware of Kakashi-san and his standing as a formidable shinobi thanks to the most recent battle. Given that Kakashi-san defeated Zabuza, a formidable A-class missing nin, it seems reasonable that Kakashi-san will have at least 2 A-class shinobi after his head. 2 should take on Kakashi-san if one was unable to defeat him." "Hey, that seems reasonable, Naruto," Kakashi answered, not looking forward to facing 2 A-class ninjas. After acknowledging the compliments, Naruto turned to face Sasuke and nodded. "Sasuke, how powerful do you think the shinobi you battled were?" The boy felt pride well up inside him as he never thought of how strong his opponent was. "I'm getting stronger," he thought to himself. The Uchiha had a thoughtful expression on his face. "She was definitely stronger than the Demon Brothers, so that makes her at least B-class," the boy replied. "That implies that the next time, he'll send an A-class nin or at least another potent B-class nin." As he continued, Naruto stated in his assessment, just to make sure that the job is done. "He'll probably send me a B-class fighter or a swordsman. Type shinobi just to be sure. Lastly, he will dispatch at least 1 nin to look after the bridge builder. Furthermore, I would send a backup force to conquer the town and attack us when we were fatigued if I were him and had that kind of financial power." He made a very educated guess, but I wouldn't have wanted them to have an idea of the possible numbers to keep them from settling into a singular frame of mind. It would have been better if they kept their minds open to any possibility. "I'm thoroughly impressed with young Naruto. He is a more than capable comrade. If we make it out of this mess alive, I'm definitely asking for him to be permanently placed on my team. Naruto, very nice. I had a different idea in mind, but your examination of the data is superb. Our 3 goals for this mission are to 1. Kill every enemy. 2. Protect Tazuna at all costs. And 3. Kill Gato. Assailant Gato? Sakura and Tsuko spoke in a tone that suggested fear. Yes. Kakashi replied. We need to cut off the head and everything else will fall apart. Naruto agreed with Kakashi's primary mission objective, saying, yes, Kakashi-san is correct. We need to kill Gato to stop this. Sasuke was lost in thought and Sakura and Tsuko had a serious expression on their faces. Who will carry it out? Who is going to kill Gato? Sasuke inquired of them. Don't worry, I'll take care of Gato, Kakashi uttered. Kakashi-san, that might not be feasible, Naruto remarked. Naruto, do you doubt my ability? Inquiring in a curious manner, Kakashi. No, Kakashi-san, what I'm trying to say is that you might not get the chance to, particularly if you're up against 2 elite Jonin alone. You'll be extremely tired after a battle like this, and Gato will have a lot of weapons. Perhaps one of us could reach him more easily? But after the battle, you'll be worn out too, and it might be too much for you. Although your concern and assessment are commendable, I've been in worse situations before, so don't worry about me. I won't die for you guys. Naruto's somber response was, hi Kakashi-san. Alright, pay attention to this plan now, Kakashi uttered. Returning with Kakashi and the 2 Iwa Jonins that went missing, Juzo praised Hitaki Kakashi, the Konoha Jonin, saying, your name is well deserved. Hey, I suppose that's true, but don't you guys feel that this is too much time to be bitter? I mean, the war ended a few years ago, Kakashi remarked in a nonchalant manner. He had to find a way to make these guys uncomfortable or else he would be in serious trouble. I will not relinquish my retribution until you perish, Juzo uttered. Oh my goodness. As he assumed a relaxed taijutsu stance, Kakashi spoke in a more serious tone. Well, let's settle this little grudge today, shall we? In a tone that was casual, Kakashi said. Juzo started making a series of hand gestures and said, yes, let's settle this little grudge. Yonzo also started making hand signs right away. Yonzo bellowed, Dolton. Doryu Taiga. Earth flow river, as Kakashi felt the earth beneath him turn to mud, throwing him off balance and pushing him back at the same time. His concerns were not allayed, though, as Juzo carried on with his combo attack. The other Iwa shinobi yelled, Doden. Doryuden. Earth Dragon Bullet, as a massive dragon head formed and began to spew mud bullets at the prone Jonin. But since the copy ninja also possessed the Sharingan and was a master of the earth element, it wouldn't be as simple to defeat him. Kakashi never once looked away from his opponents, and if he lived, he would be able to add 2 new jutsus to his collection thanks to his activated Sharingan. The same mud that Kakashi was tripping over formed a dragon head that spewed mud to neutralize the other dragon. Doden. Earth Dragon Bullet, he exclaimed. I can't continue in this manner indefinitely, as another powerful assault of that magnitude may be beyond my ability to repel. I have to get this finished soon, he pondered as a notion struck him. The 2 Iwa Jonin were angry that they had failed to capture him, but they continued to believe that the battle was theirs to win. When they heard the shout of a jutsu, they were totally taken aback, but then they saw an earthen wall appear and the surrounding area filled with mist. This is Mist Jutsu. He lives up to his reputation as the copy ninja, Yonzo said. Alongside Kakashi. After successfully defending himself a second time, he regained his balance in midair and proceeded to make more hand gestures and shout. Doden. Doryu Heki. Earth-style wall, was his jutsu, which served to both conceal his true purpose and shield him from additional attacks. It's my turn now, he muttered. As the area started to fill with mist, the phrase, Sweden. Mizugakure no Jutsu. Hidden mist, appeared. Let's stay close together, we're at the disadvantage here, Juzo said. Yonzo stated, I agree, but I have to perfect jutsu in this situation, while performing a series of hand seals. Before he could complete the sequence, Kakashi attacked him. What the heck? Juzo said he isn't giving us enough time to get ready. Yonzo exclaimed, let's get this done. Yonzo exclaimed, hi, as he started to get ready for his jutsu. Juzo skillfully sidestepped Kakashi's attack and leapt into the air, landing squarely on his partner's shoulders. Kakashi hurried at the two once more, not wanting to give them time to perform any more jutsu. He felt the ground tremble beneath his feet when he was only 3 feet away from the pair. Doden. Dai Doryuso no Jutsu, Great Earth Rising Spears, was unleashed by Yanzo, who exclaimed, "Too late, Hitaki," as the ground erupted around the pair, forming a literal bed of deadly earthen spikes. Kakashi couldn't have time to react, so the lethal protrusions could only skewer him. Kakashi let out a loud gurgle as spikes sprouted all over her body. Ha 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 ha. It's over, Copy Ninja, we got our retribution, Juzo exclaimed triumphantly on top of his ally. Doden. Doryasu no Jutsu, a swift and unpredictable earth technique that can be dangerous. This jutsu gives the opponent very little time to react as a large number of earthen spikes almost instantly shoot out of the ground beneath them. The spikes retract back into the ground as soon as the user releases the jutsu. This earth-style jutsu was unlucky to be given to Konoha's Jonin, Hitaki Kakashi. As the earthen spears withdrew, Juzo declared triumphantly on top of his comrade, "It's over, Copy Ninja, revenge is ours." Kakashi's body was covered in holes, many of which were dripping blood. With a final act of defiance, Kakashi willingly moved toward the men who had ended his life, staggered slowly in their direction, and touched them. However, it was not to be, as the inexorable pull of gravity overtook his body and all of his strength crumbled. As Yanzo approached the fallen shinobi, Juzo had already disembarked from his comrade's shoulder and was in his rear. Yanzo turned the body over and started talking. "I have long since wished to see the face of the son of my father's killer. For years I have dreamt of this moment of glory for my family and for Iwa. And now it has finally been realized. It's finally over for you," the man said with a mixture of sadness and pride. Pride in his accomplishments and sadness over what he had lost. A voice said, "Yes, it is truly over now," and Kakashi's body started to tingle with electricity before blowing up in a big explosion. Juzo, who was behind his companion, saw the threat and just managed to avoid the fatal blow. Arai. Bunshin, what the hell is going on? But Yanzo was not so lucky, as he was caught in the deadly electrical storm. His body was constantly and mercilessly flooded with thousands of volts of electricity, which destroyed organs and crippled his nervous system. Yanzo met a grisly electrified death at the end of his brief victory. "One down," Kakashi uttered as the fog started to lift. With an overwhelming wave of rage filling his entire being, Juzo exclaimed, "I'm gonna get you for killing my comrade." During their fleeting moment of victory, Juzo and Yanzo relaxed their guard. They indulged in their glory a little too much, believing that their death match was over, not realizing that their opponent was patiently waiting for this opportunity. A proverb states, "Never trust a ninja," Kakashi uttered in a menacing manner. Without any logic, Juzo exclaimed, "I'm going to destroy you with my most devastating technique, Hitaki. And as I prepare the Chidori, I'll kill you with a technique my subordinate taught me," declared Kakashi. "Ha! You have fallen so low, and here I taught you were an elite ninja." Kakashi leapt into the air without saying anything. Juzo exclaimed, "Foolish shinobi," while he completed the seals for an extremely potent move. Juzo was unable to complete his technique though, as Kakashi vanished from the scene in midair, and he felt his body abruptly lift off the ground. A sharp pain echoed through his chest, and he heard birds chirping loudly. How did you get to me so quickly?" the man questioned, looking hurt and surprised. "As I said, my subordinate showed me this technique. It's called Flying Swallow. Finally our grudge is settled," Kakashi said in calm tone. Defiant even at the point of death, Juzo exclaimed, I'll never let go of my vengeance." "Then perish in the obscurity of your animosity," declared Kakashi, releasing the man's corpse from his grasp and letting it fall to the ground. Not long after, pain shot through Kakashi's whole body. It seemed as though every muscle and joint in his body would give way and he would collapse. "What a technique! I can hardly move my body. That's what I get for using such a technique. It wasn't meant to be used to me. I wasn't trained to use it." Glancing up at the heavens, Kakashi uttered, "Hanging in there, team, I'm coming. A long-standing grudge was resolved on this day. Raiga and Naruto. Naruto whispered, "Natojutsu." Flowing waters cut, as he performed the move. A low whizzing sound was heard, followed shortly after by the sound of metal slicing through flesh. For the second time, Raiga had been saved by Kawarimi, or the blade had met flesh. After taking a few steps back from his youthful rival, he moved ahead and spoke. Naruto's black kimono had multiple cuts on it, and a network of sword slashes with blood streaming out of it could be seen on his chest. Raiga snapped his finger and said, "You're very skilled with the sword, boy." I never expected you to have that much skill, but you're not the only one who is skilled with the sword. You did very well to evade all those attacks at the last moment. Had we both received each other's attacks, we would both be dead right now. I can't disagree, Naruto replied, but that is if the attacks had connected, and I have no intention of losing. Raiga said, separating his sword into two. Confident are we now? Even in the face of a superior warrior you show no fear. Your master trained you well. I see that you are the real deal, and I cannot hold back on you. Prepare to feel the full brunt of my power. Let me introduce you to my lightning fangs. They helped me become one of the 7 swordsmen of the Mist Village. Naruto assumed a low defensive stance so that he could move as freely as possible. Mayushi forewarned him that dealing with lightning-type jutsu would be particularly challenging due to its volatile and unpredictable nature. Naruto was aware that he couldn't charge an opponent with such a significant advantage. Raiga lifted both of his swords into the air, causing them to condense into a small ball of electrical energy. It's here, thought Naruto. Raitama, lightning ball, Raiga exclaimed, hurling the condensed electrical energy ball in the boy's direction. Regretfully, Naruto was never in danger of being struck by the ball. It launched too slowly and was too obvious. Naruto had already moved out of the way when the ball of electricity left his sword. I got you. Raiga had other ideas, though, as Naruto sidestepped the blow and went straight for the now prone swordsman. Observing the boy approaching him directly, poised to slay him with the katana, Raiga linked his 2 fangs at their hilts and started to rotate them. Before the man could use his technique, Naruto noticed what he was doing and tried to approach him, but it was too late. The man was about to be split in 2 by his swords when an electrical field encircled him. Naruto was stunned as the electrical charge shot through his sword and into his body where it met the lightning armor. Naruto felt a powerful kick to his chest during the brief moments of electricity shooting through his body, sending him hurtling back the way he had come. As the lightning armor dissipated, Raiga exclaimed, "That was my Reigeki no Yoroi. Do you like it, boy? Do you like the feeling of electricity coursing through your body?" Raiga was unaware that the damage was not nearly as great as it would have been if Naruto had not used his ki Tate to lessen the technique's effects. Placing both swords in the ground, the man started to channel electricity into them, saying, "I'm not through with you yet," he said, turning to face the blonde boy in front of him. Raiden, Ikazuki no Utage, Banquet of Lightning, was uttered, and shortly after, multiple lightning bolts shot through the earth, directly at the boy. With a swift thought, Naruto threw his wakizashi high and away from him, starting to run behind his flying sword. The last jutsu's effects were still present in his system, slowing him down, so he was having trouble moving quickly as the lightning caught up to him. Naruto leapt into the air and landed on the wakizashi's hilt, using a ki enhanced jump to land on one of the smaller trees and out of the jutsu's range as the blade firmly planted itself in the ground near some nearby trees. Raiga was incensed that the boy had eluded him once more. In contrast, Naruto was attempting to establish a personal connection with the man. Those lightning jutsus hurt so bad. Before I can move in, I have to keep dodging to wear him down. He'll become more irritated and more likely to use a powerful, exhausting jutsu the more I dodge. Then, if I could withstand that assault, he would be vulnerable to my attack. He turned to face Raiga and saw the man heaving, but not from exhaustion, but from rage. It appears that things are going my way at last. The man yelled angrily, "You little brat. I thought you were a samurai? You're nothing but a coward." Which Naruto answered, "I am not a coward, but I am not stupid either, unlike you." This only served to infuriate the man more. Raiga should have known better than to lose his composure in such a circumstance, so it was truly unfortunate. His arrogance had overcome his overconfidence, and he was now consumed by rage. "Prepare yourself to face my strongest jutsu," Raiga remarked as he brought his lightning fangs together and started to summon lightning down upon his body, creating a ring of wind and electricity around him. Then he started to spin, very slowly at first, but then his body started to gain momentum. Before long, the entire area surrounding him was covered by a massive dragon's head made of electricity and wind. Naruto thought to himself, it will be difficult to dodge that attack. "Raryu no Tatsumaki no Jutsu, Tornado of the Lightning Dragon," was the man's statement as he hurled the enormous lightning dragon towards his adversary. The massive dragon roared toward Naruto. Even though he was aware that he wouldn't be able to completely avoid the enormous dragon, he was still going to make an effort to flee as quickly as possible. He was struck by the Raryu with immense force and ferocity. The boy just managed to sidestep the crushing blow, but he was unable to completely break free from the jutsu, just as he had predicted. Lightning struck where he had been standing, and bolts of lightning shot out in all directions at a speed that was frighteningly fast. Too quickly for him to avoid, he took a hit. The boy let out a pained "arg" as lightning tore through his body. It seemed like an eternity before his body hit the floor. Raiga was breathing heavily. That kind of jutsu always drained him, particularly when he had to draw the power from within. He was taken aback that he had to apply such jutsu to a small runt, but the child showed to be a very skilled fighter. Raiga was unable to enjoy his apparent triumph for very long, though, as the boy was gradually standing back up. "What? How did you manage to survive my attack?" Naruto saw the man struggling to stand and looked up at him. He was releasing the electrical charge from his body gradually. He was starting to regain his coordination little by little. "I knew that I wouldn't be able to completely avoid your attack, so I prepared myself to face it head on," Naruto told the man. "Knowledge of a situation allows you to deal with it accordingly and without fear. And as it pertains to how I survived your attack, that's my little secret." Still trying to regain consciousness from his jutsu, Raiga uttered, "You little bastard, I'll kill you with my next attack." "I apologize, you missed your opportunity. Now it's my turn. Protect yourself, Raiga," the boy uttered as he assumed his flying swallow stance. "This is the only way I can get to him without giving him a chance to defend myself, so hopefully I have enough energy left," the boy thought to himself. Raiga spoke in a defiant tone, "Oh, show me what you got." He went on the defensive as soon as he noticed the boy adopting an unusual stance because he was a dangerous child and he would kill him if he underestimated him. So far, the child has survived every attack from him. However, as soon as he saw the boy jump, all self-defense instincts vanished. "Ha! Today, I will be the one making the final decision," he thought, grinning. "Is he unaware of your vulnerability when you're in the air?" However, everything altered once more when the boy vanished from his field of vision. Where is he?" He heard the boy exclaim, "I'm down here, shit. How could he have penetrated my defenses so quickly?" Raiga pondered. Naruto uttered the words, "Suzaku no Matami. Red bird of the south," while slicing his katana forcefully upward. Raiga's only quick response to the boy's incredibly strong blow was to quickly cross his lightning fast fangs diagonally to deflect the low blow. He wasn't expecting the blow to have that much power. How is this tiny shrimp developing such strength in his blows? He was vulnerable to another attack because he was defending the forceful upward strike. Raiga's opponent's blades were pushed upward and away from his body by Naruto, who used the Suzaku no Matami's upward momentum to pivot his blade at an angle, leaving the larger man's entire side vulnerable to attack. "Byako no Nishi. White Tiger of the West," Naruto exclaimed, attempting to split the man in two at the waist with a spinning, horizontal wakizashi slash. Raiga was all he could say as he performed the Kawarimi one more time to stave off certain death. Shit. He was hiding in the nearby bushes when the attack happened. This child immediately made two openings. I have no opportunity to strike. He was absolutely correct, as he heard the sound of a blade swirling just as it was about to strike his head. Naruto uttered the words, "Seryu no Higashi, Dragon of the East," as he executed a second body twist and hurled his wakizashi at his opponent. What made him find me? Raiga could only divert the lethal projectile with his swords. Raiga felt a shadow cover him in an instant as the blades collided. When he looked up, he saw his opponent's piercing blue eyes and Yawaraki Tei's white blade descending upon him. Raiga realized at that very moment that his life was ended. He could not defend himself now that it was too late. He waited for his demise with his eyes closed. It wasn't too long to get there. Genbu no Kita, Black Warrior of the North, was the last words Kurosaki Raiga heard before passing away. Rewind. In their customary training area, Naruto stood facing Mayushi. You have learnt Flying Swallow, which is a very versatile technique, but it is only the precursor for another stronger technique. This technique is known as Kibatsu no Shishin, Punishment of the Four Heavenly Beasts. It is a four-stage attack that constantly creates openings in an opponent's defense without giving them the chance to retaliate, and that is why it is a punishment. There is no remorse for the victim of the technique. In this technique there are no wasted movements and your maximum power is used to its fullest extent. Defend yourself, young one. Naruto instantly assumed a defensive posture in response to Mayushi's words, hoping to avoid suffering too much damage in the end. Mayushi took off like a flying swallow and was never seen again. All Naruto could do was defend himself from the flying swallow, which was faster than he had anticipated. Byako no Nishi. the old man said as he pivoted and landed a harsh horizontal slash of his bakken to the boy's waist area, sending him flying across the area. Seryu no Higashi. He continued as he pivoted yet again and launched the bakken at his student. Suzaku no Matami. The old man said as he lifted the unfortunate boy off the ground with a powerful upward slash. Although Naruto performed a good job of blocking the attack while in the air, the last blow almost immediately followed. Genbu no Kita was struck squarely in the head by a bakken blow that went vertically downward, knocking him out in the process. After 15 minutes, Naruto opened his eyes to see his master sitting on a nearby rock and he started talking. Suzaku tries to rip the opponent to pieces by grabbing them with her claws. Should Suzaku falter, the attack's force stuns the adversary, giving Byako the chance to tear them apart with his claws. By now, the enemy has become terrified of the onslaught and is starting to run away. Nevertheless, it is already too late since they have entered Seryu's brutally judgmental domain. If the opponent makes it through these 3 judgments, the technique's wrath temporarily paralyzes them. The opponent is now dead and Genbu no Kita, the final judgment, has been passed. Hai Sensei, before darkness overtook him again, was all that Naruto could manage. Put an end to the flashback. The man was sliced clean through by Naruto's katana, sending blood flying everywhere. The verdict has been rendered. After Naruto finished speaking, Raiga's body collapsed to the sides, dripping blood all over everything, including Naruto. Naruto collapsed to his knees, his body completely spent from the blow and blood loss, covered in his opponent's blood. He told himself, I have to get to the others, as he made his body go against its natural course. This was the day that Yawaraki, Tei and Hagashi Seishin genuinely claimed their first lives. Renmara and Sasuke. Sasuke's only hope in this battle would be in close quarters combat, which the Sharingan excelled in. Disengaging his jutsu, the Uchiha quickly dodged to the side in order to make room for himself to engage his opponent face.to. Face. Things weren't going well for Sasuke. His Karyu was losing to Raryu from Renmara, and he was starting to feel his chakra run low. Following the subsequent explosion, Sasuke noticed his opponent smiling. What makes this so humorous? Questioned Sasuke. Uchiha, I understand what you're thinking. You believe that you are outmatched in jutsu exchanges, so you plan to use the Sharingan to your advantage in close quarters fighting me. Really, it's pretty obvious. Figuring it out doesn't require much thought. The young Uchiha answered, well, I guess you're clairvoyant, but I'll have the advantage in battle now. Stop being so self-centered. I've had you in the palm of my hand from the start of the conflict. I have been testing your abilities and your Sharingan up to this point. Your eyes will be well utilized by my master. As if I would force you to have them, Sasuke retorted with defiance. Do you believe you have an option? I'll demonstrate to you why you have no chance against me right now. And just like the Sharingan, Renmara's eyes started to glow red at those words. Sasuke felt sure that his Sharingan would be able to see whatever tricks his opponent had up his sleeve, but soon his confidence gave way to despair as he felt his Sharingan deactivate, taking away his ability to see the world and his opponent through his enhanced vision. How did you treat me? The boy questioned, terrified and perplexed. Ha 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 ha. I can make other dojutsu useless with my dojutsu, my dear Uchiha. You are helpless against me, and my master will soon possess Sharingan power. Then Renmara unleashed his vicious attack on the dazed Uchiha. In a matter of moments, Sasuke saw himself superimposed on the boy who was approaching him, displaying his arrogance, contempt, and superiority. Is this how I look in the eyes of those below me? Were they truly below me? Sasuke thought to himself, snapping out of his daze. Sasuke gained a very valuable and humble lesson in that instant. Someone is always stronger than you are. Sasuke's entire life revolved around the Uchiha clan and exacting revenge on his brother for killing the clan. To him, no force could match the Sharingan's might, and the Uchiha were gods among men. However, on this day, reality gave way to illusion, and he saw a boy who looked just like him, but who was capable of using a power that his priceless Sharingan was unable to detect, counter, or duplicate. In his eyes, the little boy had grown enormous. Oh, how cruel life can be. Using his Sharingan, Sasuke was able to deal with the boy's sword without much trouble, but without his eyes to anticipate the blade's movements, it became an extremely lethal weapon. Sasuke had to get out of the boy's sword's range in order to survive, so for the time being, he had to retreat. Sasuke moved quickly to find cover among the nearby thicket of trees. Uchiha, where are you? Do you feel afraid? Renmara made fun of. Just as he was finishing up, a hail of kunai appeared from behind him, heading straight for him. Yes, You are a cunning one, aren't you? Uchiha, as the boy turned and started to block the bullets that were coming at him. After a while, Renmara started to grow impatient with the Uchiha as they played cat and mouse. Uchiha, you're such a coward. The young shinobi did not respond to him, save for a brief volley of kunai that he repeatedly deflected away from his head. The young man said, "You know, there are more than one way for a hunter to catch his prey," as he performed a series of hand signs. He then stabbed Stormcloud into the ground and said, "Raiden. Raiko Anemono. Lightning web," creating a massive electrical spider's web that quickly spread throughout the surrounding area. Sasuke was taken aback by the lightning web and was easily captured in the jutsu. "Ha ha ha ha." The opponent of Sasuke exclaimed triumphantly, "Lightning web was created for just this type of situation, to catch an elusive prey. It's time to weaken you even more now that I have you caught." After saying, "Raidon. Raiko Mayu. Lightning cocoon," the web of lightning converged on the Uchiha and encircled him in a lightning cocoon, stunning and paralyzing him as the volts of electricity ran through his body and he lost control of his body, falling helplessly to the merciless ground. With a foolish smile on his face, Renmara strode over the boy and said, "Time for me to collect those eyes of yours, or I should say those eyes of mine. It was a good fight, but I was too strong for you. Your body is currently experiencing electrical current flow, which is interfering with brain signals and impairing your ability to move physically. You have no power at all. Any last words before I send you to the rest of your clan?" he asked, his blade raised, ready to deliver the fatal blow. With cuts and bruises on his body, Sasuke faced his opponent. How are you able to move?" With a tone of disbelief, Renmara said. "Not just you have the ability to set a trap." In an instant, Renmara was bound by a series of ninja wire, so tightly that he dropped Stormcloud onto the ground. Sasuke said, reaching out at what appeared to be nowhere on the ground. He pulled on the ninja wire carefully concealed on the ground. Sasuke staggered to his feet and made his way to his opponent who was trapped. "Whom? You are who you are?" With a quivering voice, Renmara uttered, "How did you bounce back from my lightning attack so quickly?" Sasuke said, "I don't know how I recovered so fast, but I know who I am," as he picked up the boy's sword. "You are just another idiot who believed that they could become Uchiha Sasuke, the last heir and avenging member of the Uchiha clan. I believe I'll accept your sword, or perhaps I should say, my sword." And with a single blow of the sword, he decapitated Renmara. Gazing upon the decapitated boy before him, Sasuke took in yet another lesson. Even though he was inferior at first, he was still able to win because of his cunning and readiness. These lessons left him with plenty to ponder as he made his slow but determined way to his allies at the bridge. Renmara died quickly and without much fanfare. It was a death deserved by those who failed to recognize the unpredictable nature of combat and allowed their arrogance to cloud their judgment. Through combat on this day, doubt was sown in the mind of a young avenger. Tsuko and Sakura. Following their escape, the two found a sizable clearing in the forest close to the town. "Alright, we're here, let's prepare the welcoming party for our attacker," Tsuko said. "He ought to be coming across our jutsu and traps by now." Sakura questioned her companion, a hint of doubt in her voice. "Yeah, we set enough traps and genjutsu to delay him and hopefully weaken him some, and hopefully by then we should be able to take him," Tsuko said. "Do you believe we could defeat him?" she then hesitantly questioned. "There's nothing else we can do. We are all depending on each other. How can we fail?" The boy spoke very strongly when he said, "When I get my hands on these brats, I'll skin them alive," exclaimed the enraged unidentified shinobi, whose overconfidence and miscalculation of the brats had put him in a genjutsu trap. A hail of kunai and shuriken struck him as he finished dispelling yet another genjutsu, and when he managed to deflect the lethal hail, he was met with the sight of Tsuko facing him. "I'm going to kill you, you tiny punk." "No, you won't. Too many people rely on me, and I won't pass away." With all the assurance in the world, Tsuko said, "I don't think I could say the same for you." Just as the shinobi was ready to charge him, Tsuko grinned and exclaimed, "Wow." The man was blasted away when a nearby explosive tag detonated. Tsuko's triumphant smile was short-lived, though, as the explosion site was littered with rock and mud fragments. Shortly thereafter, Tsuko was met with a blow to the face that propelled him into a tree. Before he had a chance to recover, he felt a firm grasp lifting him off the ground. "Where is the brat, the old man? If you speak now, your death will come quickly and painlessly. If you wait, it will come slowly and painfully." Tsuko grinned bloodily and said, "There's no way I'm telling you where the old man is." The boy never had the chance to stab himself in the shoulder because he had to avoid kunai aimed at his head, but the man said, "Well then, let the torture begin." With all of his strength, Suko kicked the man sharply in the solar plexus, temporarily stunning him. Then, he quickly grabbed a smoke bomb from his pouch and slammed it into the ground, creating a great cloud of smoke. Sakura ran out of her hiding place and grabbed hold of her teammate to help them escape. This brief distraction was all that Suko needed. Shortly afterward, the unidentified ninja pursued the two as they managed to flee. The man appeared as Suko and Sakura reached the center of the large clearing they had been at earlier. The man angrily remarked, "You brats are gonna pay for all the trouble you gave me." "Sakura, go to the village and get help," Suko said, turning to face Sakura. "Until then, I'll hold him off." "No, Suko. I can't abandon you, we're allies." "I know, but don't worry, I won't perish. We need all the assistance we can get right now." "Okay, Suko, don't die. I'll be back soon," Sakura addressed her ally. "Ha ha 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 yeah, you are going to die right now, so you should not lie to your teammate." The man charged at the young boy, shouting. The man charged at Suko, who put on a determined expression, saying, "No, you will die, not me." The boy vanished in a wave of chakra as the man's kunai pierced his chest, and soon after that the whole area around him vanished in a wave of chakra. In his stupor, the rogue ninja did not realize that the earth beneath his feet was crumbling until it was too late. The man felt the slight disturbance in his chakra just as he was about to stab the boy in the chest, but it was too late. It goes without saying that the fall was not pleasant because the renegade ninja was trapped in the middle of a large artificial pit in the clearing. Sakura and Suko emerged from the thicket nearby. The trap their sensei had set for them had worked perfectly. Suko had come up with the idea for the trap, which had shown Kakashi the boy's natural talent for making traps. Rewind. Naruto and Team 7 were hard at work getting ready for the impending battle. Though he knew Naruto could handle himself and that Sasuke, with his newly awakened Sharingan, would at least be able to survive long enough for backup to arrive, Kakashi was a little concerned about how Suko and Sakura would fare in their battle with the missing nin. Since they had no discernible talents and would be most vulnerable, he was most surprised when Suko brought all of this to the group's attention. "Kakashi. Sensei, I think we need to look into things a little deeper." Every member of Team 7 had started to take Suko seriously after that tree climbing incident, so they were all listening now. They knew Suko had changed. He was now a different person, more focused and more serious. "How so, Suko?" the Jonin asked, appreciative of the chance to address his worries without undermining the pair's trust. "Sakura and I, however, are the weakest of all of us, so we will have the greatest disadvantage. I'm the last person in the class. Sakura only has excellent chakra control and book smarts, and Sasuke has his Sharingan. Naruto is also very skilled with a sword, and you're an elite Jonin." Sakura was unable to become enraged at the boy's statement because it was true. Suko went on. "Something more is required to provide us an advantage in this fight. Thus, I had a thought." The boy's plan actually excited Kakashi. "Naruto, what have you done to my student?" "Suko, let's hear about your plan," Kakashi answered. "Sakura and I will probably die in straight combat. We're not going to be able to defeat whoever the ninja is. However, if we use genjutsu and traps to wear down the ninja, we might be able to hold out until help arrives. Sasuke and I discovered a sizable clearing during our reconnaissance that we could utilize as a trap for Sakura and me, the ninjas we are going to confront." "What a fantastic idea." In response, Kakashi said, "How did you think of it?" He is already aware of the origin. "Know yourself and know your enemy, and you need not worry about the outcome of 1,000 battles, Suko said, gesturing to Naruto. "Naruto, is that not correct?" With only a nod of agreement, Naruto could, "Okay Suko, take me to the clearing and let's set this trap of yours up," Kakashi said. Close the flashback. Suko watched the man inside the death trap that he, his sensei, and his team had set up. "Bastard child. I'll torment you until you beg for death when I leave here." Suko retorted, "You are the only one who is going to die today. You were a dead man walking from the start, even though you were unaware of it." The unidentified Nukanen was living the life of a man who was about to pass away. "How the heck could a group of kids beat me?" Speaking to no one in particular, the man said. He dropped his guard as soon as he saw the two children. In his opinion, he could not have asked for a simpler assignment. Despite the children's repeated attempts to outwit him and demonstrate their competence, he continued to believe that they were a bunch of petty brats. Little did he know that they were plotting his demise. Using the last of his strength, he looked up into the eyes of the children who had killed him. His eyes met Tsuko's and the boy spoke. You say you were defeated by a group of kids. How is that possible? Tsuko said the man's words again before he went on. We were ready for you, which is why you lost. My sensei and teammates calculated every aspect that led up to this point in advance. He pointed to Sakura and said, neither she nor I were victorious. You weren't defeated by her or me either. You were defeated by my entire team. Tsuko uttered. The young boy had no hint of a lie in his eyes, and the fallen shinobi saw it. Ha 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 ha. What a horrible way to pass away at the hands of ignorant brats spewing ignorance. As he embraced the last traces of his criminal life, the man spoke melancholy. Thank you Shinobi.san, because you taught me a great lesson. Oh my god, and what possible lesson is that? The man inquired with sincere curiosity. No matter how strong he may be, the fool is always the first to die, Tsuko answered gravely. I refuse to remain an idiot. The man could only watch in silence as the words finally hit home to him before he passed away. As he drew his final breath, the man wondered, have I been a fool all this time? This was the day that silly and immature ways were abandoned. All of them were bloodied, bruised, and beaten. They were tired and aware that their fight was not yet over when they finally assembled, if laboriously, at the bridge as they had planned. As Naruto had predicted, Gato amassed a sizable force of about 100 renegade samurai and marched towards the bridge with the intention of destroying any Konoha team that might be present, marching to the town, and subduing it. This was all while the team was engaged in their individual life, or death struggles. Unexpectedly, but not unexpectedly, Gato saw 5 resolute Konoha warriors standing in his way of greater wealth and complete control over the sea trade on this side of the elemental nations. Happy, happy, happy. You Konoha ninja are true to your reputation as hardy little bastards, but sadly, I also made plans for survival. Even though you were a ninja, you were helpless against 100 of my men when you were weak. At that moment, the Wave Country villagers trailed behind the Konoha team and heard Gato's proclamation. They won't fight by themselves. A tiny but powerful voice called out, it was Inari. To aid in defending their nation against Gato and his gang of thugs, the boy had rallied the villagers. How funny, the villagers at last have a backbone. Ha 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 ha. I will claim this country as my own once I have eliminated you all. Yeah, I'll be in charge of the... The lanky man was about to stop gloating when a wakizashi got firmly lodged in his skull. Everyone's expressions were limited to shock, not even Kakashi noticed Naruto's blade. Throwing. Stop talking, yawning old fart, said Naruto in a resentful tone. Gato fell backward in a loud heap, his only emotion on his face being shock. Dead. With the lingering effects of the Raiga's last jutsu, the boy could hardly stand. It was a wonder he could move at all, especially with Kibatsu no Shishin. Still, he was kneeling, his blade pointing menacingly and defiantly at the shocked people surrounding him. If you dare, come join me, you miserable samurai excuses. To the men who were in front of him, he said. Everyone was thinking only of Naruto. The Rouges were not sure if they should be scared or angry because this kid had just killed their meal ticket, but the way he did it made them shudder. Even though they were far from the group, the boy was still able to impale Gato, and even though he was barely able to stand, he stood in front of them fearlessly. But all it takes is a little boldness to dispel their fear. This little punk is threatening us, and they killed our meal ticket. Shall we eliminate them all and demolish the village? One especially furious Rouge samurai. And the horde of men started charging at the weary Konoha group and the rebellious villagers. As the enemy closed in on them, the group stood firm, and Kakashi spoke alone. Be merciless. As they prepared for combat, the group was thrown into disarray just as the Rouges were about to arrive. Team Guy was here. Kanoma Dai Senpu double. Shortly after the initial attack, a shower of kunai fell upon the enemy's rear. Guy and his clone, Lee, shouted as they barreled directly into the middle of the unwary samurai's formation, knocking about a dozen of the rogues to the side. Dual emerging dragons. Tenten yelled as she rained down a hail of lethal kunai, shuriken, and other weaponry on the helpless bandits. Neji landed beside Naruto and Kakashi, while Tenten, Guy, and Lee were causing chaos for the unfortunate Rouges. I've heard so much about your team Kakashi. Sensei, the whole village is talking about you all. News spreads quickly. Kakashi sighed and said. Neji then turned to Naruto. Hinata. Sama asked me to bring you back safely to Konoha, but it seems you are quite capable of doing that on your own. Tsuko grinned and said, the girlfriend wants you to come back to her in one piece. Naruto? In such a dire situation, Tsuko, please stop talking. Naruto shot back, blushing slightly. Interrupting the dialogue, Neji questioned Naruto, would you like to fulfill your threat, Naruto-san? With a fierce shout, Naruto led the charge directly into the enemy's front while grinning at Neji. A nation was set free from slavery on this day.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.